Greetings, gamers, and welcome to the 239th live stream from the Misfit Gamer Studios. I am your host, Vortex, and this is D&D Discussions. On today's episode, we have a new boss battle from Super Foxer. This is the Alloy. This is Alloy, the Immortal Blade. This is the thing that took the Verdant Sovereign's arm. So we already saw how crazy that thing was from a campaign designed for people who wanted, you know, basically impossible and high fantasy. So we are going to see the thing that could take the arm of something that was basically godlike. Join us to see how that works out. All right.
That's wild.
I was too zoomed in. That was too zoomed in apparently for that one.
Oh, really?
Granted, like my entire setup had to change because you're back
here now.
Rip. So things had to change. But
Always screwing stuff up.
yeah, well, hi. You want to talk about like really being too zoomed in?
Let's see.
I can see everybody right now.
Amazing.
All right. That's a little bit better. Oh, fun. All right. Well, that's totally fine for me. I get a fucking break today.
What's happening?
Hart, you're the boss, man. Like, that's awesome. Fuck yeah. All right. Well, excuse me. I guess I will just hit this button right here. How long is that for? Do we remember?
What are we talking about?
Is that 30 minutes? Cart, what are we talking about? Let me double check. What happened? For 30 minutes, all right. And the 30-minute counter starts right now. Move.
What? You son of a bitch!
I thought you were paying attention.
I was trying to catch up with chat. God bless America. Cart, is that you?
That was Cart. You son of a bitch. Oh, yeah. Oh, this is, oh God, this is the life. I love this.
Why you?
That is the best
Why you playing me like
ever created. This is a vacation for me, y'all. I don't have to do shit.
I mean,
I'm just gonna relax. I'm gonna sip on my water.
I don't know what people want from me, but welcome to D&D Discussions.
You're in the driver's seat now.
I guess we don't got nothing to say before we get started.
I mean, other than OSR might be coming this Friday, but
okay, yeah.
For me, other than that, we're kind of ready. Foxer's been waiting. We don't want to keep them.
Yes, fair enough. Apologies, Foxer. So, all right, I guess let's get it to it. We're looking at Alloy, the Immortal Blade, and you know, as Vortex always says, we will start with the description. Born of a metal no forge can replicate, Alloy was created to hunt gods. Its form reknit from a wound, no matter how fatal. I don't know if that its form reknits from any wound, no matter how fatal. Only by destroying every particle of its being in the same instant can one hope to end its eternal hunt. Wild. Absolutely wild. Okay, so this was something that I had a question for you about, Foxer. There is another review that we did of yours not too long ago that was also named Alloy. Now, my question is this the same creature, or is this another version of that creature, or what? Because I ran out of names. Okay, so this is just a lightweight recycled name. Fully different creature, fully different essence. I'm here for that. Okay, just making sure. But okay. And you said this earlier, but this is the thing that took the other creature's arm. Right? Now that thing was scary. I don't remember a whole lot about it, but that thing was kind of scary. But okay. Okay, this is good to know. This is good to know. Let's take a gander at this image. Now, this was the image that I stole from Discord that you had sent into us. Dude, this thing looks wild. This thing looks real intense and like it's gonna take my head off. But I'm liking the little bullseye kind of iconography. I don't know if that has anything to do with the lore from your realm, why that it chooses that symbol, but yeah, dude, this looks like a supervillain that I do not want to fuck with. So we'll see what happens. Uh-oh. It's
I'm
fine.
supposed to be on break.
Out here doing all the things.
Well, now that I have a chance to actually see it, like,
See it from that perspective, because you can use my.
realized that this one was properly. This one was
It also could be how I'm sitting. So, like.
no, it's also just trying to get this thing, because this thing, when it's too far away, really is like zoomed out. Because the way that I have it framed. Again, this one is framed differently right now for different uses because it's supposed to be right on. So I'm just trying to, without having to redo everything.
Without having to mess with all the actual camera settings. Fair enough. Fair enough.
Better.
All right.
At least if we're like relatively the same size. There we go. Look at that. There we go.
That's decent. That's perfect.
That's yeah.
That's absolutely
I just wanted
perfect.
us to be at least relative size in the right camera.
Fair enough. Fair
All
enough.
right. So yeah, interesting.
I'm curious what this metal is that it was crafted from. It said
because we don't get a lot from this. You know what I mean?
it's short, it's sweet. It's like, hey, I am a hunter of gods. I was crafted. It says born of a metal, so no forge could replicate. Like,
I'm just wondering, is this going to be like a liquid metal, like because it can fix itself? What kind of metal fixes itself, right? Is it something that it can like a Warforge? Can it just fix itself with outside metal, or does it itself? I'm just curious how that's going to.
Or the metal itself, some have innate like magical abilities to like rebond itself into whatever. Because again, it says born of a metal.
Think about Cell, like, it reminds me of DBZ and Cell because it specifically says only by destroying every particle. I guess it's like Cell and Boo both
yes,
aspect,
yes.
Right. So I feel like
it almost feels like nanobot type action, you know, where it's like self-replicating and so. But okay, again, so when it says born of a metal, that makes me feel like it wasn't necessarily crafted, just alloy crafted to hunt gods. Like somebody had the intent to put this thing together.
Again, that's why I think of like the like Terminator, like a T-1000.
Yeah, exactly.
Metal, like Terminator version, it was crafted for a purpose.
Very interesting. So we'll see. We'll see what ends up happening, but okay. So this is Alloy. It is a medium construct. Its alignment is chaotic evil. I can see that. I can definitely see that. It says armor class is 22. Malleable alloy plates.
Okay.
Okay.
So basically, it's its own, natural.
Sure. Yeah. And then speed is 40 feet on the ground, 80 feet flying with hover. And we talked at somewhat length about hover in our past couple of reviews. One of them being a subclass where you literally fly around. When you get knocked prone with a hover speed, you just don't fall out of the sky.
Yeah.
But if you don't have a hover speed and you're a flying creature, then you would fall out of the sky. So that's kind of the significance of being able to hover. And so this is like DBZ flight.
And in the way that I also imagine it in terms of practicality, like in High Point, fly and hover are two different things, right? Like a eagle.
So they would be separate movement speeds.
Well, in the sense of it's also how they operate. An eagle can fly.
Mm-hmm.
A hummingbird can fly.
Sure.
A hummingbird can hover.
Okay.
An eagle cannot.
Okay.
And the thing is, it's in 5e, it's a distinction of whether or not you can get knocked prone. For me, it's whether or not that's the fifth.
You can stationary. You can maintain stationary flight.
And then
so could
my distinction of whether or not you can get knocked prone is it mechanical? That's the high point.
Mechanical.
So like so in 5th edition, hover means you can't get knocked prone.
Sure.
Like you won't even fall out of the sky. Whereas a hummingbird, who in High Point can hover, it can sit there.
Sure.
And self-propel. But if you knock it out, it's going to fall because it's mechanical flight. If in DBZ you knock over one of them, unless you knock them unconscious, they're going to sit there floating, right? They can stop themselves. So the idea is mechanical flight, meaning like,
so you need to use your physical body in order to fly, like you're flapping your wings or you're doing something like you need physical.
Like again, if you're TTRPGs like a jetpack or something, but yes, you have
sure.
You have something.
But like if somebody casts the fly spell on themselves, they would,
in my opinion, is technically in High Point
hovering. Yes.
Because
okay. Because the type of flight. Okay. So
and so that's why for me,
in
I
High
divide
Point,
flight and hover as how you move and how you
in
can
High
move.
Point, can a dragon hover?
Yeah,
Okay.
because
Because
it goes their flight.
they have the
on
ability to
mechanics.
basically fly, like keep themselves elevated in the same spot in space.
Yeah,
It's still mechanical, so they could theoretically be knocked prone because they're using their wings to fly.
unless they're extremely ancient, and those are the kind of ones that just look like they're just like, and it's more for looks. They're like just kind of
So they can magically fly, but
yeah,
they're
basically
they're just using their
aura-
wings.
They literally
Horrify me. Okay.
they're sitting.
Okay,
on their aura.
Jinwoo.
But yeah, for the most part, the most
Wild.
smaller dragons like wyverns and everything are definitely known for hover. Like they can just sit there,
Sure.
high point and hover. But again, they don't have hover in it. 5th edition ideology that if they get knocked prone, they're falling. But again, that's where high point, flight and hover are whether or not you can remain stationary while in the air, and mechanical versus magical flight, or basically mechanical, non-mechanical flight,
Sure.
is whether or not you get knocked prone.
Got you. So again, based on what this creature is, as far as we know, I'm believing that it has non-mechanical flight. So its hover speed, again in 5th edition.
Called that DBZ height, especially for
Sure. Yeah.
mechanics, because specifically it covers the prone.
Yes.
Definitely DBZ flight height.
Okay, that's valid.
I 100% believe, because that, I mean, I haven't seen anything that tells me it has wings.
Nope.
And-
Nope. And the one image we did get from Discord, he was just literally hovering there above the other dude. And I'm like, all right, dog.
Just there.
Okay, so we did that. Dude, did I mess that up? I put the speed above the HP. I gotta fix
It
that.
happens.
I gotta fix that. Anyways, I probably wanted it to be like the ladder.
I love
Anyways,
it's faster in the air though. I love it.
absolutely, a freaking ninja. But so this HP, we have 475 HP, which is 35 D10 plus 280. Now, to me, 35, like the number that shows up there, is because in a player's stat, that's relative to your level. The number of hit dice you have is your level. So if you have 6 hit die, you're level 6. So that means this thing is theoretically level 35.
Right. It's gone to level 20 and then some.
Yes.
And kept collecting.
So this is pretty intense. Pretty intense action. But I think for a boss, 475, especially depending on if it has any like healing factors going on, like that's a decent chunk. I don't remember. I'd look it up.
I'm really curious what Verdant had now.
That's what I'm saying. Like if you can go check I have the leaderboard pulled up in one of my tabs. You can see if you can.
Try not to touch anything else.
No, it's fine.
Just double check Verdant real quick.
But yeah.
See, I'm doing. Oh, no preview available. It's an owner's crash.
If I open a tab here, will it change what's on the screen for everybody else?
Yeah.
Okay.
Let me just double check something.
Ooh.
I clicked Verdant and then it said it was in the trash.
Trash. It's definitely not in the trash.
I see it. Yeah, when I click it, it opens a window or another tab. Then it says preview is available. File is in the trash.
There's no way. Hold on.
Here, let me hand you yours.
All right.
It's more safer that we don't cross anything. Because yeah, I just went to it, clicked the first one, which should take me to the preview, or at least take me to the document. And for some reason it says it's in the owner's trash, but I haven't touched it. I think
Unless, would you click the link on the right or the left?
the left, because the
That's
the
what-
right one's
yeah, that's-
YouTube, right?
Well, the middle one's YouTube.
Or,
The
yeah.
right one is what they send
The
me.
OG. Yeah,
Yeah,
I clicked
yeah.
on the left one, and then even if you hover over it, it shows the
Preview. Yeah.
And then I clicked on it, and then I don't know if I clicked on it or if I clicked on the link in the preview. Maybe I misclicked that. You know what I mean? I didn't click
Yeah.
the cell. I clicked the link that showed up in the preview. I don't know why that would matter. I don't know why the preview would be in the trash.
File is an owner's. Okay, there's. No, you clicked the right thing. This was from Foxer.
Yeah.
Foxer said they were gonna check anyways, but
Okay, cool.
still. No, oh no, that's Verdant. I need Verdant. It's right here. It is not in the trash. It is not in the trash, bro.
Trash.
I'm relinking it. That's so crazy. So Verdant's health was 520. Like almost 50 to 75 hit points higher. But what's crazy is, oh, maybe it's just because it's got a higher constitution. Oh,
Sorry.
No, you're good.
Always flip the camera around.
Because it has 32 d12, so Verdant has a higher size hit dice, but fewer. So it's a lower level theoretically, but it's got a higher, I guess, I have a metal body though. Like, because when I think of like what your
It depends on what the AC is though. I didn't see what's the AC.
AC is 19, so it's a little bit lower.
I mean, yeah.
But your health is specifically tied to your constitution, your sturdiness, right?
Mm-hmm.
And a flesh and blood creature like Verdant versus a metallic construct. This is a construct, right? Yeah, it's a medium construct.
Okay.
But yeah,
So construct versus humanoid, and this is a constitution of 20 versus their constitution of 24. So they do have so
that's crazy. Wait.
yeah, Verdant was a constitution of 20.
So then, okay, because here, this number should be my constitution. Oh, but it's also a proficiency bonus.
Yeah.
This one is.
This is 315.
That's that.
With a 20.
So that should be a lower number, because their constitution is lower. Their proficiency bonus is going to be lower. There's no way that. But I mean, again, I don't know exactly how this was calculated. From
they're both considered bosses too. So I mean that means that they're both creatures. They're not playable characters. So
correct.
That
it is
how you build it.
I would say, like, usually this breakdown is fairly standard across the board, unless there is, like, in the creation of it, you have something specific that's like, hey, I have the tough feat, so now I get like a plus whatever to all of my stuff, which is very possible for something like
but Verdant couldn't heal as easy. That's fair. And Verdant did have two statements: the caved and uncaved.
Oh, that's right. That's
Caped,
right.
So caped.
They were significantly nerfed.
Literally caped. They were capped at a 14 strength. Uncaped, they got to 22.
I totally forgot they had two.
Yeah. But interesting that 20 just flat for alloy.
You said does their constitution change when they're caped?
No, it's just their strength and their dex.
Okay.
The only
Well,
two things that
regardless,
which is funny because okay, so alloy has
I gotta
better
fix
dex regardless, but uncaped Verdant had more strength and more health. So considering that they only walked away with losing an arm, it sounds like a pretty even battle.
yeah, that sounds crazy.
But
Verdant
Alloy was,
couldn't
I think,
heal.
supposed to have died at that point, right? Like they killed Alloy, but then lost the arm doing it, or did they actually draw? I forget what the story was and what the lore
Oh,
was.
I thought they escaped. I thought like Verdant like escaped from Alloy or something with
Okay.
only losing their arm.
If that was the case, then yeah, it sounds like a pretty like even. It sounds like a pretty even fight between bosses.
Yeah, that sounds kind of wild. But like, you know, I would consider both Palpatine and Darth Vader a boss if I were to come up against them in D&D, right? Like they're going to be pretty significant,
Absolutely.
but one is still theoretically more powerful than the other. So like there'll be a hierarchy regardless, but defeated him and used the downed lock on Alloy and dipped. Interesting. So Verdant defeated Alloy and then
That makes
rolled
sense,
out.
but lost the arm in the process.
Oh, I mean, what was that one? You ever watch Hunter x Hunter? There's this Chimera Ant arc where one of like the boss of like the Hunter organization goes up against this like King Ant or whatever, and he ends up like losing like his limbs, but like ultimately winning, you know, type deal. So like I could see like, hey, I'll sacrifice this element of myself so that I can get the other upper hand in this moment, so I could finally win and beat you or whatever the case may be. But okay. Cool. So we got our armor class, our speed, our HP. Now let's look at some stats real quick. We have our strength is 20 with a +5. Our dex is 26 with a +8. Our con is 24 with a +7. Int is 16 with a +3. Wisdom 18 +4. Charisma 14 +2. Definitely stacked in the physical stats side of things. Every single one of them is above a 20. I'd say again, you know, you're gonna see at least a couple 20s in something this high of a CR. So I'm not mad at that at all.
Yeah.
The balancing it out by keeping everything else, I would say average for a creature of this status. Like this could easily be any player, right? 16, 18, 14, like easily be any player. So I don't think that that's crazy.
That's interesting because yeah, Burden had a 24 wisdom.
24 wisdom?
Yeah, but a 20 constitution, a 16, 24 dex, and a 14, 22 strength. But 20 constitution, 16 intelligence, 24 wisdom.
Dude, it feels like Verdant's stats were like way more stacked than Alloy's.
So it really must be that healing factor that'll come into play.
Okay.
That sounds like it.
Let's see it. Let's take a look. Now, this was something that I found kind of interesting. So I would love to hear how you came about these bonuses. Unless I read the stat sheet that you gave me wrong, this is what it looks like are the bonuses to them rolling these saving throws. So I don't get a +5. I don't get a +15. I get a +23 to any strength roll that I roll. I get a +26 to any dex roll that I roll. So if I roll a natural 20, that's a 46.
The same as on Burden as well. They have the same spell out. Strength is 23, dex is 24. So,
And that's for saving throws?
yeah, in the same spot. So I don't know what exactly that means.
Really?
We must have
So, because normally it's your whatever that particular stat is. If you are trained in that stat, you get to add your proficiency bonus. Otherwise, it's the exact same as that stat. And usually they don't put it even in the saving row unless it's something you're proficient in. So I'm assuming they're proficient in absolutely all of their saving throws.
So, I don't know. Yeah, because with Verdant, like the strength saving throw, it went from a 14 strength and a 22, cave to non-cave. But the saving throw went from a strength +19 to a strength +23. So it's a +4 and a +1. And then dexterity went from a 16 and then a 24. So the saving throw went from a dex +20 to a dex +20. So I'm not sure if we covered that last time on how those calculations.
Well,
Hey, how's it going?
hey, what's happening? What's happening?
Oh, you guys not hear me?
Please speak inside. Oh, you talking about me?
Oh wait, no, yeah, it's probably just me. Honestly.
Fair enough.
New mic, so I'm not used to speaking.
New mic, who dis? Wild.
So Super Boxers 10 plus stat plus 8 due to their CR.
Now, you're giving me a base of 10. Where's the base of 10 coming from? So 8 due to your CR would make me think that's your proficiency bonus, right? So your proficiency bonus went up from a max of 6 at 20 to an 8 at whatever CR you are right now, or whatever level you'd be theoretically at right now. The base of 10 is where I would be, because a lot of times you'll do stuff like in your armor class, you start with a base of 10, or when you're calculating your saving throw for being a spellcaster or something like that, you will start with like a base of 8 and then add your proficiency bonus and your spellcasting modifier. But for a saving throw, it's usually just those two. It's usually just the stat that you're using plus your proficiency bonus. Isn't 10 the base for saving throws? That's saving throw DCs. So unless you're saying this is the DC that they have to do, but usually that DC is based off of whatever that person's. So like if I'm a wizard, my saving throw is going to be like a base of 10. I want to say it's 8, but it might be 10. So a base of 10 plus my intelligence modifier plus my proficiency bonus. That's what would make up the DC that somebody else has to roll higher than when I make them roll a saving throw. This looks like it's saying whenever I'm trying to save and someone's trying to do something to me, whenever I roll my dice, I get to add that. So that might be unintentional by Foxer, and if it is, I totally get that.
The math that they gave us, because 10 plus stat plus 8. So even if I go, because I'm just looking at the difference between these two.
Let's just do strength.
Yeah, so what is that? So 10 plus 5 plus 8 is definitely more than 23.
No, that sounds right. That checks out.
Wait, so no.
Because 8 plus 5 is 13, right? And then you add 10, which would be 23.
Yeah, so, okay, so the math is interesting over here because, so I have on Verdant, the strength of the first, when they're caped, a strength of 14, which is a +2. So that would be a 10 plus 2 plus 8, which would be a 20.
Yes.
This one says it's a strength of +19. But then
interesting.
Uncaped, it's 22 with a +6.
That's why, because theirs isn't a +8, theirs is a +7. Because here it's a +8 because of their CR.
Gotcha.
And so that one's going to be a lower CR. What's the
CR on that one?
I don't know if it specifically says the CR, but at the very least, they're a level 35, where Verdant is a level 32, I think, or 33.
315. Or no, 32. Yeah, 32. Gotcha.
32. Okay.
Okay, so that makes sense there. And then uncaped, it's a +6. So that would be a +13. Yeah, 10 plus 13, which is 20. Okay, so yes, so that does make sense if we're basing it off of that, which would make, because this is a CR.
I did
24.
think 10 was a bit. Okay, so Foxer is saying it was likely unintentional, like they didn't mean to give it such high. So I can set these to what I think the intent was. So what the intent would be it would just be the 13. So it'd be all of these just minus 10. Because there's no base 10 for whatever it is. But 13 is still pretty crazy. 16 is phenomenal. I roll a 20. I rolled a 36.
Well, you know what I'm saying? I was going to say, like, +23. I'm like, that is godlike power, though. I mean, if we
absolutely
really wanted to buff these guys out.
Absolutely.
Which, again, maybe that's why these two were so equal in the fight. Maybe that's why the fight was able. You could say, theoretically, that's the lore of it, is they both just have these absolute insane resistances because of the saving throws, meaning they can just take a beating more than anybody else.
That's so wild. Yeah,
on average will half most damage, right?
Depending on what it is, yeah, either halve or nullify.
So if you think about it, that makes perfect sense to the lore. And honestly, I might even suggest not taking that out and building it into the intentional lore, because
keeping that +10,
because now you have a reason why they were such a match for each other, and why even at those HP levels they're still such a threat, because it just takes so much more to pummel them down. And
it could have been the likelihood of, I mean, I don't know if we actually got a timeline on how long the fight took, but I mean, when we were watching DBZ, like, these fights last forever. I mean, from our perspective, it lasts forever, but like they keep going back and forth. The person keeps getting back up again. They keep going until, finally somebody concedes or somebody can't get back up again or whatever. But yeah.
I got an idea for you. Got an idea for all of you. For a boss-like creature, what if you had, because I'm loving this idea of like really, really strong saving throws, just so it takes a lot more to like knock them down. What if you tied it to their HP? So for every chunk of HP you took down, their throws got weaker.
Interesting.
So they have less and less of a chance to start taking. Essentially, you're eroding away their shields. They're eroding away their protection.
Sure. I like it. If you broke up their AC into like, fifths. If you broke it up into fifths, you could remove 2 for each fifth that disappears.
Right. Up down to a 10, yeah.
Or,
I mean, I'm just curious idea of making something that is stronger at first but gets weaker over time. Like
as you wail on it, it becomes easier and easier to get it to that final point.
And I think that feels better than just having something with 1,000 hit points.
Although I will say this thing here, in the description, it was like, it'll keep coming back unless you destroy every bit of it. So I'm super curious how that's going to manifest itself in the abilities, but Yeah, let's keep it pushing to see what we got. So we got condition immunities. We are immune to charmed, exhaustion, frightened, incapacitated, petrified, poisoned, blinded. Interesting. Not deafened, but blinded. I love charmed and frightened. It's a pair that you usually see, especially when it comes to a construct. You know, I would imagine it would be hard to mentally affect something like that. Exhaustion, again, it's a construct. It makes a lot of sense that it's not going to get exhausted like most people. Incapacitated. That's a big one. Like, you can't be incapacitated. Now, it's interesting. Do I have I do. There are a good couple of...
You know what's funny?
Where are you?
Furton's made attacks. Yeah. One of Vernon's main attacks is poisoning.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you ain't gonna do it here. Now, is it poison damage or is it the poisoned condition? Because we haven't gotten
the
to...
target must succeed a DC 24 Constitution saving throw or be poisoned until the end of the next turn.
Yeah, that wouldn't do nothing. That wouldn't do squat. There's nothing to poison. It's just a robot. Like, imagine trying to poison a T-1000.
And abilities, partial charm. Well, guess what? That didn't work either. That's another ability that didn't work.
So tell me how you would read this. This guy does not have the condition immunity to stun. Okay. But it does have the condition immunity to incapacitated. Now let me read you the description of being stunned. You are incapacitated, can't move and can't speak. Only flitteringly, whatever. Attack rolls against you have advantage. You automatically fail strength and dexterity saving throws. Could this creature get stunned? And if it can get stunned, does it just not get affected by the portion of it that says you're incapacitated?
So here's the problem, though, is in the description it says incapacitated, but usually if incapacitated has its own definition, and
yes, it does.
A separate condition.
So incapacitated.
Hold on. Oh. But my thought process is normally, if they are referencing them, it would call it out like as if you had this other condition. I'm wondering if this is one of those oversights where they're just using the word because the word is a descriptor, but not pointing to we are meaning the other condition that already. In fifth edition, I'm confident that whenever another condition is referenced inside of a condition, because there's a lot of times where they'll reference like being unconscious or something like that in another condition, that is literally saying everything that applies to unconscious also applies to you. So basically how it would work is it's like you're putting that folder inside of this, you're putting that file inside of this folder. Everything that applies to it also applies here. So in this situation, it's just saying you can't take actions or reactions, okay, right? No, it is a stack.
Yes.
So incapacitated is a feature of stunned. Stunned has more to it than just incapacitated. So
correct.
It is a layered issue. Yes.
Yes.
So in that particular case, you wouldn't have to put they have the immunity to being stunned. Well, actually, no.
Because there's a lot of other things.
So they are not immune to being stunned. They are only immune to the incapacitation of stun.
So
all other things would apply.
So, but here's the hard part about that. That almost makes the stun not pointless, but a big part of stunning them is they don't get to do anything on their turn. You can't take actions or reactions. The most you could do is do a bonus action something. The most you could do is a bonus action something. You can't move and you can't speak. So they wouldn't be able to move, but somehow they'd still be able to attack. They wouldn't be able to move, but somehow they'd still be able to take a reaction. Because the part that's saying you can't move is outside of being incapacitated.
So no, I mean, again, not being able to move.
Oh, move might just be your speed.
Yeah. So
is that what it's talking about?
It's not like you can't move your arms. Just you can't move from your spot. So that would be it. Is instead of it being a complete and utter like shock to the body, like you're frozen in place, it's more like a loud bang, happens. You're frozen to the ground. You plant your feet to get ready, but you're still able to react to your surroundings because you just got that. So I imagine like that. Like stunned is you lock up, right? Like you are either like you're dazed, you don't know what's going on. This sounds more like that whole you get that adrenaline rush and you plant your feet, but if anyone were to touch you, you just like slap them, or if there was a danger, you'd be ready to react. So,
Interesting.
So I feel like it's more of a adrenaline shock to their system.
So you're saying there would be a way for you to be stunned and not incapacitated in the same moment,
especially because of what I had just read. I did a quick Google search, and it did specifically say that incapacitated is a feature of stun, but stun is more severe. So that tells me that it's a list of things, and therefore, if you can be immune to one of those things, that means that the others should still apply if they're a list, right? They are not.
Uh-oh, the bell's going off.
Okay, yeah. I don't see it as they are directly connected to needing this, all of them, the incapacitated condition, right? They are all under stun. You know, and so it's kind of like if you said I attack you and I do bludgeoning and piercing, but you're like, well, I'm immune to piercings, like you still take the bludgeoning.
Absolutely.
That's how I look at this.
Okay.
You're only able to do one aspect of it. Like
interesting.
Like, you know, a poison that also does acid damage. You're only immune to the poison.
Valid.
All right, well, there was your half hour. I hope you all enjoyed your brand new host. That was such a nice vacation. Oh, thank you all so much. Yeah, I would. The camera is so far away, but I guess that's what it takes. No, it is a much better framed though. I do think we are much more equally framed.
Yeah.
In each now. Oh shit! Wow. Y'all are amazing, actually. I love it. Back to back.
You little
you're basically host for the rest of the stream.
God bless America. Again?
No,
Foxer this time.
it was both. Cheers, y'all.
Why do you hate me?
Love it.
Woo! I don't get to take notes. I don't get to do nothing. For an hour?
Or at least until
Do you want me to just start it?
I honestly, I think they're just gonna force you to finish it.
Whatever. It's fine. All right.
Or are they just trying to secretly tell me that they're done with me? It's like, look, no, you can just get replaced.
No.
About stun, he failed street and dex street, and attacks against him would have a DV.
Okay, so it's just... So he can still move, and what's the other piece? Move and speak normally. He just fails. Okay, that's right, because you said something about using 5.5 definition of stunned. It says, while you have the stunned condition, you experience the following effects. Incapacitated, you have the incapacitated condition. Saving throws affected, you automatically fail strength and dexterity saving throws. Attacks affected, attack rolls against you have advantage. Okay, so that's all it says. It doesn't say anything about... That's so crazy. So in 5.5, when you get stunned, you can still move. What in the world? Was that you?
Don't make me turn it off. Do not start spamming it that hard, y'all. I will turn it off.
Oh, y'all are wild. Y'all are wild.
But don't make me.
Hamburger.
She asked if I wanted to turn it off after the subathon, and I told her that I trusted everybody enough to not turn it off. Don't make me regret that.
Y'all are wild. But it's very interesting. It's very interesting. So I'm here for it. But that does make that is kind of crazy to me that in 5.5, when you get stunned, it doesn't stop you from moving.
Base? It doesn't?
It does not. If you look back up at the description that Foxer gave for what 5.5 says about the stunned condition, it says you're incapacitated, you fail dex and strength, and attacks against you have advantage. It says nothing.
Incapacitated would be the no movement.
Unless the definition of incapacitated is different. Incapacitated just says you can't take actions or reactions. Doesn't say anything about moving.
No way. That makes no sense.
That's exactly what I thought.
There's no way though.
I mean,
that sounds so dumb. Wait, hold on. Yeah. So it changed.
They changed a lot of definitions in 5.5, and I still haven't gotten to all of them. A lot of things are very weird. But does it say what incapacitated's definition is?
So yeah, so in the original 5e, the stun condition explicitly strips that you are incapacitated, you cannot move, you cannot speak, only faltered, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
And then the incapacitated meant that you couldn't do your
actions and reactions.
Now in 5.5, you are incapacitated, you cannot take actions or reactions. Movement, you still have full access to your movement speed and can walk around, but you cannot perform complex or offensive actions.
Crazy. That's so crazy.
So you cannot perform complex or offensive actions.
Offensive?
It tells me you can't attack. That says that you can't attack, but you can, and it says you can walk around.
So where is that in the wording? Like, is this someone's interpretation, or is that the actual
this
wording?
Is just like, yeah, this is, I mean, I haven't found the official source.
Because that, according to it sounds like what Foxer.
I don't have my, let's see. So what's a good 5e, like resource?
Wish you knew how to navigate my toolbar, because I have all of them saved in there. I mean, would it be on the wiki dot?
I just don't know what the updated text would be. I'm just looking for specifically. Like,
yeah, I mean, you can always try D&D Beyond. See how you guys are making stuff so much harder? This would have been done by now. Gosh. Yeah, crazy. But all right, while he's looking that up, I'm gonna run to languages real quick, because I am very curious about being stunned in 5.5, because that just sounds wild to me. Languages, they speak Primordial, Infernal, Deep Speech, and Common. They have Blind Sight up to 150 feet.
Another 30 minutes, don't make me.
What? We already I'm maxed out, bro. Like, I don't think
we're gonna finish the stream with him.
Like, don't
threaten us with a good time.
Him with a good time. He's enjoying this way too much. It's in 1 hour. Oh my gosh, y'all are ridiculous.
So WotC came out and said that they wanted to differentiate it from Paralyzed, so that's why they dropped the movement. So a lot of people are talking about how, yeah. So the consensus is that the player consensus is, most people look at it as like you're uneasy on your feet, but you're on your feet, right? Like you're
like a flashbang.
Yeah, like you're stunned. So again, like you stun me. I can't come and just start wailing on you, but I can like make my way over to you or try to walk away from you. But I'm not going to be barrel rolling and ducking out of a wave of fireball or running and jumping.
You know,
I'm literally just on my feet being like, away from me, or being like, you know, like you punch a drunk dude and he's just like, you motherfucker, and he comes at you, but he's not gonna like punch you.
Sure.
He's just gonna be on his feet, and that's where most people are. Is most people are even saying that they flavor it as a wobble, like as a stagger. They don't let people run, and that's what I was trying to look up, is whether or not it specifically requires you to walk, because I'm okay with that. If the official,
so you can't take the dash action.
Yes, if it just says that you can move your speed, but you can't take complex and you can walk it, I'm okay with that, because again, like you said, flashbang, you're still on your feet. You're not knocked over. Your feet don't not work. You just are dazed, right? Think about being dazed instead of, right? Stunned and dazed. You're just like,
because you brought up the mentality of being drunk. And I know this is pedantic potentially. I would say drunken monks would be immune to this condition then.
Oh, but see, again, it's not a drunkenness. It's still like,
right, but
like
them knowing how to operate in a
argument
state like that, like I feel like their body, when you train yourself enough, your body almost reacts without needing your mind, and so like especially that feels like just their natural state of being. So I don't know. Let's see. Doesn't work while deafened or while under the ring. Oh, interesting. I was curious. They were what do you call it? Immune to being blinded, but they weren't being immune to being deafened. And so the senses that they have available to them are blind sight and tremor sense. Blind sight specifically says it does not work while they are deafened or under the range of the silence spell, which gives me the vibes like they got some echolocation Daredevil type shit going on.
Okay.
Right? So they can't like see, which might be why they're immune to the blinded condition, because they can't see anyways. But they also have tremor sense out to 45 feet. Oh wait, interesting. They're not. They do have some sight. Okay, that's so weird. That's so crazy. So you got tremor sense out to 45 feet. They got regular sight, but it's only out to 10 feet. Their regular vision is only somebody who's in melee distance of them, basically. And then you got blind sight out for days. And then tremor sense. Now, let me look at blind sight. I want to see if you can actually see people like through walls, and if so, like how thick. Blind sight. Perceive your surroundings without relying on sight within a certain radius. Creatures without eyes, such as oozes, and creatures with echolocation or heightened senses, such as bats, dragons, whatever. But it doesn't say anything about being able to see like on the other side of like a solid object. So I'm assuming, because echolocation,
Yeah,
it would just bounce back.
Yeah, you wouldn't get on the other side.
Okay. But if it was an open area and there was a wall there, I could see behind the wall, right? Or no?
Say that one more time.
So if I'm in a giant open room, right? Say a Coliseum, and there is a wall right here, and someone stands behind the wall. Theoretically, if I had sight, they would have full cover from me, but I don't have sight. Am I aware of their presence?
I would say if they're not making noise, no. Because echolocation.
But this is not specifically echolocation. It says heightened senses, but it could theoretically be a sense of smell.
Again, heightened senses, yes. Again, I didn't catch that part. Yes, heightened senses, I could absolutely buy that. You can smell them, you can hear their heartbeat, you can feel like I would say that as long as you are not isolated from them, like it's a solid wall, like there's any kind of opening, then you could be aware of their presence or at least a general direction. I'm fine with that, especially for heightened senses. I really like using that in a lot of my player builds, especially if they choose to play unique races, because I like to have the ability for certain races to have heightened hearing, heightened smell, and those are opportunities for them to actually like roll and see if they get more detailed than just a perception check. So I'm 100% with you that heightened senses would mean that with all of that combined, they're very much able to get around a lot of things.
So now, again, I swear it was somewhere written in the rules, but if you would say somebody who has blind sight, the invisible condition has nothing to do to them. If somebody is theoretically invisible, that means nothing to somebody with blind sight. Because is invisible doing anything to conceal your presence other than concealing you visually?
Well, okay, so for blind sight, specifically, sense that allows creatures to perceive its surroundings without relying on physical sight within radius. Bypasses darkness, fog, invisible condition.
Okay, so it does specifically
already.
Okay, I swear I saw that somewhere. Now,
so what's interesting though is what I'm curious of is considered
what? Blind sight? Yes.
And creatures. Okay, so creatures without eyes, such as ooze, and creatures with echolocation or heightened senses, such as bats and true dragons, have this sense. So the heightened senses is kind of like part and parcel for it. So yeah, so you can't be invisible around this.
So the next one is tremor sense. Now, tremor sense is on a much shorter range, and it has a stipulation that it only works while standing on the ground.
Oh, I 100% agree with that.
I do as well.
Yeah.
Now, here's what's crazy. This creature's got flight.
Yeah.
Right? Would you say with this flight, because there's nothing that's like, say they get blinded or they get trapped by the silence spell, so they are blind via their blind sight. Would you say that they could walk on the wall of a cave and gain their tremor sense? Because they have the ability to fly. They don't need to be like in the appropriate orientation or anything like that.
So I see where you're going with this. I love this idea, and I have to answer it. So in a high point, this is the kind of thinking that I usually try to approach, right?
Sure.
If you have the ability to somewhat control, and you're like, think about, what is it, the not feather fall, but there's another one that basically makes you so light that like someone, usually you can cast it on yourself, and then someone can cast like gust of wind.
Oh, levitate. Yep.
Yeah, levitate. So that's the kind of thing. If you cast levitate on yourself and someone puts wind again on you, and you happen to be being pushed into a wall, and then you just turn this way and then just walk up the wall because the wind's pushing you into it, that's something I would encourage, because you don't have wall climb, you're just using physics.
Sure. Yep.
So in that sense, if we are saying that, again, with DBZ logic, you're not flying as in you're not propelling yourself in the air, you are just able to push yourself in whatever direction you want, right?
That's what DBZ flight is?
Well, that's what I'm assuming, right? Like you can basically just sit there and you can float down, up, left,
I thought it was almost like self-telekinesis. That's kind of how I view.
That's my point. It's like, it's not being propelled. You're not pushing off anything. So
correct.
You can go in any direction. You can sit sideways and then move your feet forward if you wanted to.
Yep.
And in that case, you were just, again, similar to the levitate and wind, you're just physically pushing yourself against something, and therefore you're touching it, making it solid. So in high point, that would absolutely be encouraged as I like this idea. I'll allow it, not as, again, not one of those hard-coded mechanics, but yes, if you think of it, you can do it. However, this is where the second answer comes in. I don't think that works for 5th edition, specifically because you have something like Spider Climb, which I think is a better reason for it since you're more connected to it. So I'll say, okay, I would agree. I like it. I would allow it in high point, but I don't think it's a good use of that combination. I think it's up to the DM, but I just don't know if 5th edition.
So yes, you have Spider Climb, but Spider Climb is what I would consider poor man's flight. Basically, you can go wherever the heck you want to go. Like you're not really bound, but like as long as there's a wall, right?
Yeah.
But it's Spider Climb. I would say anything you can do with Spider Climb, you can do with flight, even if you're not using Spider Climb. If I want to be over here with flight, and I want to be over here in the same spot with
like it's not in between.
But
all I'm saying is that for 5th edition, I think that the way that 5th edition builds its rules, I don't think flight and contact with the ground, I just don't think it was meant to be used that way. I still think it's a fine idea. I would.
You're talking about for the
but the purposes of Trevor.
I
think that
the way that I'm
intended for that, but again,
the way that I'm reading this, and I would assume that tremor sense, like in the 5th edition sense, you would need to be in contact with at least something in order to be able to use it, right? So but because all tremor sense is you're sensing vibrations, and you can tell what those vibrations mean. So my biggest question is like, okay, in a cave, I would, as long as I'm touching the thing that's being vibrated by the other thing, I would assume that I would be able to sense what's going on as long as it's within my range.
Again, it depends on how you want it, classified. Like the tremor sense could just be touching the wall. Like you could just touch the wall and feel it versus having to stand on it.
Sure, but then you're using your hand rather than your feet.
Yeah, and then again, there's also the difference of, just because you can feel the sense, if the tremor is coming from this surface, you're more likely to.
And that's my question.
If you're on that surface, you might feel it, but you have no direction because by the time it got there.
Does that mean that if I was standing on the ground and somebody was wall climbing, I wouldn't be able to tell where they're at? Using regular tremor sense, if somebody was spider climbing down the wall, would I be able to tell that they're coming down? I have no sight in this area, pitch black.
What's the official? Let me look at the official tremor sense rule. I'm actually curious how tremor sense like.
Because that would be the extension for me. Is it's like, okay,
No, that's the good like whole.
And the thought that I was going into is something like, okay, if I'm inside of a house and this is going on and I'm on the walls, sure. But if I'm outside and somebody is on like soft grass and my feet are standing on the wall,
another shared surface, wall or water.
Okay, shared surface.
Yes.
Wait, wall or water?
Web, like a web, wall or water. So a shared surface and tremors. So again,
water?
Well, if you're in the water and something's swimming by, you're going to be able to feel like the. So technically, like you're right. So I would say that yes.
Interesting.
So,
I never thought about water like tremor sense.
But it also says like, it does specify a shared surface. So there's adjustments there, but yes.
So
in that sense of a cave.
In this house, is this a shared surface?
Yeah. So again, that I would say like if you're talking about like if you're in a cave, you'd know something's on the ceiling.
Sure. Okay.
Like. Or at least at a distance, maybe you could say, it's too far away to know that much. But if it's on the wall, you're like, oh, it's right
would
there.
be within your range, whatever your range is, for sure.
I agree that, yes, you would be able to get it. And again, vice versa, if you're on the wall, I'm not against making that ruling. I would think that the official by the book would mean that flight does not mean you're on the wall. Again, I would allow it because I like the physics of it. I just don't think the rules.
Here's my last weird question on this topic. You're in a room. You're in the center of a room. Your tremor sense is 45 feet, just like this. Okay. You're in the center of a 60-foot radius room. So you're 60 feet from any wall.
But
the ceiling is a lot shorter.
Nope.
That's exactly what I thought because it has to travel a lot. Yes.
Yep. And that even though it's a shared surface, it's too far away.
I would never be able to feel the wall, and the wall is connected with the ceiling, so the tremor would have to travel a lot farther to get to me. So that was going to be
a linear line.
Yes.
Of not direct. It's not as the crow flies. It's a linear line on the ground to the object.
No, my.
So I guess that in that case, you wouldn't know it's on the ceiling unless the ceiling was
within the 45. Yes. So the thought of a shared surface, if I'm thinking of a log cabin that's built on just the dirt outside somewhere, if I'm standing on the dirt and you're standing on the wall of the log cabin, I would say that's not a shared surface.
See, I think that is something that the game mechanics, and again, maybe this is one of those things that I kind of agree with. That's one of those things that doesn't need to be codified. That I think is just truly based on, does it have to be a brick building to be with mortar connecting? Or, because again, right now, technically, this floor is pieces on top of a foundation.
Sure.
Which is technically connected to that wall, but that wall is only pieces connected to a frame, which are only barely connected to a piece of wood, connected to the foundation, which is
sure.
So how many, yes, I would say that is one of those things where there is no codification to say what's a shared wall. I think that is truly up to
the DM has the ability to remove, veto, whatever, in a particular scenario, if that makes sense to them.
So here's the weird thing. Here's another one.
Should have brought popcorn. Wild.
Here's a better question. What's a shared surface? And we don't have to answer this right now. I'll
Fair
just
enough.
leave this one as a little seed in everybody's head.
Seedling.
If you're walking outside with tremor sense, can you feel the squirrels on the tree next to you?
Personally, I would say yes.
But it's not a shared surface, so
roots.
But no, but you know what I'm saying?
I do know what you're saying.
Wall. Yeah. Because if the cabin wall has mud and everything's touching, then there's enough to put the vibration through.
Yeah.
So if you're talking about the log cabin isn't the same, is it tree?
I might have to rethink my log cabin, but I totally feel what you're saying.
That's where the idea is. So in my case, you said in this house, yes, I would consider them as shared surface because they're physically touching, meaning vibrations go through them. You know what I mean? Like if I can feel it in a cave, I can feel it in a house. I think a shared surface means that they have to be touching enough to transfer reasonably, right? Like if there's a fence outside and it's
Dobbs needs to get tremor sense, man. Dobbs needs to get tremor sense, man.
Actually, you could probably have your own if you worked it right.
Okay, I'm using my little ghetto tremor sense.
Well, I mean, so think about it. I mean, if you could get to the point to where you could buy again, this might be like level 20 stuff, but imagine if you could always within 10 feet of you
Have a little
lift,
aura.
just lift the entire ground like 1 centimeter to where it's imperceivable to anybody else, but anybody steps in your aura, like you could technically, like, I'm just saying, there's ways to do it.
Interesting. Okay, let's
yeah,
let's get back to it. All right. Abilities.
That's what they come here for.
Exactly. This is Metallurgic Rebirth. It says at the start of its turn, Alloy regains 25 or 8d6 hit points. Additionally, whenever Alloy takes damage to its hit points, not temporary hit points, it gains temporary hit points equal to half the damage dealt. Oh my gosh. So this is like resistance with extra steps. You get half the damage in temporary hit points. It gains to half the, and then rounded down. Damage dealt to its temporary hit points does not generate additional temporary hit points.
Right. So it has to have no temp HP before it can regain temp HP by damage.
So if I had 100, so here's the example. It says if you had 100 hit points and was hit by 50, it would then have 50 hit points and 25 temp hit points for a total of 75 overall hit points.
And then if they got hit with another 50,
they
would lose the 25.
Then
lose 25, so they'd be at 25 HP, but then they'd have 15. temp
Yes. That's crazy. That's so crazy. That's
no wonder
so
that
crazy.
Thing's a beast.
Yeah.
No wonder
that's
it's
so
difficult
crazy.
to kill it.
I bet. Yeah. And that would absolutely make up for its less hit points than Verdant. So now we have Rebirth Suppression. While Alloy is stunned or paralyzed. Oh, we were just talking about being stunned or paralyzed. But while Alloy is stunned or paralyzed, the effects of Metallurgic Rebirth are negated. This is the only effect. This is the only effect the status would deal. If Alloy would remain stunned or paralyzed for longer than 3 rounds, the effect ends early at the end of its 3rd round. Okay, so the way I read this, it's saying if I get stunned or paralyzed, I do not get to heal. If damage gets done to, not heal, but I do not get any temporary hit points.
Oh, or the 25 hit points every round or every turn.
Or regaining, or regaining any hit points every.
So you stop healing and getting temp HP
correct
while you were stunned. But if you would remain stunned for longer than 3 rounds,
the only effect the status. See that last line says.
So I think if they basically, you cannot stun him for longer than 3 rounds at a time. If you stun him for 5, he's gonna save out.
This line right here, it says this is the only effect the status would deal. Now, when it says the status, does that mean stunned or paralyzed? So when you're stunned or paralyzed, none of the other effects of stunned or paralyzed come into effect. The only thing that occurs is this reduction of Metallurgic Rebirth. Is that what we're claiming?
What it sounds like. That's how I read that. If that was intended that way, then I think that means that stunning or paralyzing only.
So then they're theoretically immune to those conditions, with the exception of this effect occurs.
It's like freezing its cells from repairing temporarily.
Interesting.
So I think that the idea is that
they're
immune from the effects of those, but by inflicting them, this is the outcome you get.
Yeah.
You're immune to it by what you see, but what's actually happening is they can't.
You're stunning their cells, so to speak.
Yeah.
Right? Because their cells are what's like repairing itself. Okay. So all the stun and the paralysis goes into its cells. It still allows it to move and do what. Yeah. Okay. Very interesting.
And that's interesting because on a lore perspective, if you try to stun it or paralyze it and you think you failed, because you don't know what you just did, so then you give up on that and then you never. So like again, I'm thinking of the lore here. How long did it go until Verdant probably figured out how to last long enough?
Yeah.
Because that's the idea, right? Is if you don't know this is the.
Can you look at Verdant? Does it have any stun or paralysis abilities? Ability to stun or paralyze or anything like that? Because that'd be how it would do it. Right. That would be exactly how it would do it. But But yeah, no, you're absolutely right. And it says, and so basically it cells only take 3 rounds to recover from being stunned or paralyzed, right? Because it's not affecting the body itself, even though it is literally the body. The body's still able to do what the body can do. Its cells just don't have that ability. Like, it takes it 3 rounds to recover from that. So even if I would traditionally have to keep making saving throws or remain stunned or something like that, it doesn't matter after the 3rd round. Now the question is, how long? I feel like this is only going to be for every application of the technique. So
Verdant can't do shit. It's like, yeah, Verdant has
no stun or paralyzed. That's so crazy, dude. That's so crazy. He had a hard fight. He had a hard fight. And he only lost an arm. He had a hard fight, bro. So I would say that the way this is worded, say I'm a monk and I have the ability to stun you with every strike that I do. It says it only lasts for 3 rounds.
Right.
But I think that it's referring to, the way I hear this, the way I read this is, it's only referring to extended techniques, meaning like if something would stun you for a minute, then after 3 rounds, that minute gets cut off. But if I were to reapply the stun to you again, you would still get stunned again. So
see, I don't read it that way, and only because it doesn't point to a specific thing. It just says if they would remain stunned or paralyzed.
Remain.
Yeah. So again,
that word is where I'm coming from.
It's because it doesn't end till the end of their turn. So if it restocks, that's what I'm thinking of. Is as long as the thing doesn't end, it doesn't end.
What if it's from a different application? What if it's
I think that's what I think it's meant to do. Is I think it's meant to keep this thing from being stunned on permanent. That's my interpretation of what Foxer was trying to do, is prevent permanent stun. And correct me if I'm wrong, Foxer. I read it as no matter what is coming in,
no matter what the source of it is. So then it's out. Then the question is, how long until I can stun it again?
Probably after the 4th round. I think it's like,
so it has to have 1 round free.
I think so.
And then
that's how I read it. I think it's designed to basically give itself a get out of jail free card, just because again it's a boss thing, right? Now granted, you're not stopping it, right? It's not.
So Foxer's saying indeed with Kage. I think that means its application.
If you keep stunning him, that's your shot.
So you have to use your resources.
So no one thing can stun.
Yes. So if like I had a spell that lasted for a minute, but you have to reapply that spell again. You have to use your key points every single. So like.
So you're correct. Is if you have a monk on the team, the monk would just keep him from healing as long as the monk got the shot.
Sure.
Every round,
but
you can keep him from healing.
He still gets a chance to save from it, and he's got those freaking saves, bro. So I think it would be really hard to do. But again, like I said, the monk has to use. Now, this is how I feel. If a monk goes to stun you and it fails, the way I run it in my game is you can use that same key point on this turn to keep trying to stun it. So you're not going to waste that key point until your turn is over. If I shoot all of my abilities and it saves from all of them, then I used 1 key point to try and stun it this round.
Gotcha.
Instead of using 5 key points for every 5 strikes that I do, because
you're a nice DM.
I am. Because I wanted to.
That's very generous to the player.
I see how hard, like, you want to save your key points. You want to be able to do stuff. Like, I mean, yes, but like that's all you can do. That's all you can do.
I'm not that
like
nice.
that's what your entire what do you call it? Kit revolves around that. At least when you're a wizard and you run out of spell slots, you still got cantrips, right?
I mean,
you still got stuff you can do,
yeah.
you know. But with a monk, all you can do is punch somebody. Like,
I mean, that's what you. I mean, again, when you're a wizard, all you can do is Eldritch Blast. I mean,
okay, but you got to think. Even your cantrips can do creative things. Ray of Frost slows their movement speed. Shocking Grasp stops them from taking reactions.
I mean,
flurry of blows, but again, you can only do flurry of blows if you got a key point. So you can't even do flurry of blows anymore.
That was one of your non-key points.
Everything you can do takes key points, which is why I give you a couple of things like Rogue. Rogue, you can do certain things without spending key points. I gift my players the ability to take dodge as a bonus action and dash as a bonus action without spending a key point. Like, that's just a thing that you can do as a monk, because I feel like that would be a little bit more innately applied, right? Now, some of the other things that you're going to have to pay for, like the one where you want to get out without taking an attack of opportunity, that's going to cost you a key point. Disengage, that's what that one's called.
Yeah.
Other elements, your flurry of blows, absolutely, that's going to take your key points, right? Because that's you tapping into the core of what your class does, and again, that you need to use your resources for that. So, I totally get, you know, it's when what your exertion does nothing, because there's no like it does something even if you're but.
You know, and like I said, I agree. Like I get your argument. I'm not.
Sure.
Just because I don't play that way doesn't mean I don't disagree with your argument. I just disagree with it on a level of but that's the point.
Yeah.
Like,
and again,
I come from an era where you cast a spell, and if it doesn't go off, fuck your spell.
Again, that was a big part. Like, you don't have spell fail now. Like, that
there was no
it's
chance.
not even a thing unless somebody counterspells you, and then at the very least I can say my spell wasted your resource.
Yeah.
At the very least I can spell, even though my spell didn't do a thing, my spell wasted your resource. But the save or suck spells, cantrips, I'm okay with save or suck, right? It's a cantrip, it's free, it's not using any of your resources. But a lot of the other things, I'm like, bro, like it feels bad to play sometimes when it's like all that just is gone. So whatever, it be what it be. But I really like this. It says the reactions are gonna be crazy now if you keep so yeah, I really like this. It just basically gives you immunity to these conditions, but it has a very alternate effect, and I think that is, it doesn't do nothing, it does something. And I like what you said earlier, it's like the secret thing. Like, you would have to do some work to figure it out. If I'm the DM and I'm fighting against the monk and the monk tries to stun it, see, I would definitely want to try and describe this. Like, I would imagine, like, every single time it goes to heal itself at the beginning of its turn, like, you would see this like surge that goes like through its body, and you would see wounds start to close up, and you'd see this aura like emanate around him. Like, I would describe all that as a DM, and then the second you stun it, I will say like, okay, what's your DC? I'll roll, I'll do all that stuff, and he'll move around and he'll act like the stun did absolutely nothing. So you'll think the stun just didn't work, but then the next time he starts his turn, I won't describe all that other extra stuff that happened.
Right.
And so exactly, so like that's the kind of stuff, like being able to figure out, okay, stunning did nothing, instead of just instantly getting discouraged, like, oh no man, that was the key, you just got to figure out how to put it in the lock. So it's very interesting, and I like that adds another element to this fight. So I think that's very cool. Unyielding Matter. When Alloy would hit 0 hit points, a burst of magic energy would emanate from it, making any and all casters within 60 feet from it regain all of their 6th level and lower spell slots. The heck? Yeah, that's cart. Don't ask me.
He's confused.
All casters within 60 feet from it will regain all of their 6th level and lower spell slots, gain the ability to cast the Disintegrate spell if they don't have it prepared or in their spell list, and Alloy would regenerate 200 or 30d12 hit points. Only by disintegrating every particle at once can this creature be truly gone.
So that's interesting that if you don't have any, spellcasters around, this doesn't matter. And gives out when it dies its own or its own like
it gives you the ability to
destruction.
kill it. Yeah. So weirdly enough, I really like the spell slots thing because it feels bad when I get you down to 0 hit points and it's just all of a sudden the fight's not over again. I just gotta start over. It's like I did nothing. I think 6th level might be a lot. Like granted, you're probably not fighting this unless you're you're at least.
Does that have to do with disintegrate? Either that or maybe it's
That might be the case. Hold on, let me look that up. I was about to look up disintegrate.
If it has to disintegrate every particle, depending on how much there is, 6th level is maximum for disintegrate. So it's really meant to make you have that chance.
Okay. If that was the case, because here's what's hard. Specifically when you give somebody a spell that you don't already have. Imagine a cleric. Imagine this happening to a cleric. Cleric all of a sudden now has the ability to cast this spell. The cleric is powered by their god. They're just a regular dude without this connection to their god. So the question becomes, is this now an innate ability that I have? Do you get to keep this?
I'm pretty sure this is just one time.
When you say one time, does that mean I can only cast it once? And if I miss, then...
Yeah, like you gain the ability to cast disintegrate if they don't already have it prepared. Or is in their spell. Well, it says or is in their spell list, so I guess it's permanently now on your spell list.
And again, like when you think about a wizard, like imagine like trying to memorize your spells. Do they literally put this into your memory now? Like
it's not my favorite way of going about this.
So it's I'm trying to think about, because I love what you're doing here.
Okay, so I know when they would reach 0 hit points, roll a D whatever. I would probably say a D6. D6 plus 2. That's how many pieces it shatters into. Then you could roll, say, a D20 or what another number, D12, D8, and that's how many minutes / hours / days it takes to regenerate.
So this is some Iron Giant type shit.
That's how long you have to disintegrate each of these. So if you have the spell or not, you have that long to gather it, and then you could add in that when it explodes, any magically inclined individuals get their spell slot.
Sure.
But it's something.
But the question would be, would that be the end of this fight now?
It depends on how is it rounds? Is it a day? Like when it bursts into pieces. Because I like this idea of it's going to come back, and that's a threat. But I don't necessarily want to say, okay, fight's over, you have time to chill. It's just more of I don't know if I like this idea that, hey, here's, you killed it. So here's another thing that you need to do, but I'm giving you everything you need right now. And you know what I mean? It doesn't feel as fulfilling because I didn't have time for it. You're just going to give me a solution. And that's only if I have casters.
So
if you don't know about this lore-wise coming into the fight, it's like, how does this benefit me if I only have one caster? Is one caster enough? Do I only need one caster to do this?
I mean, theoretically, so does it say? It says if. So the target takes 10d6 plus 40 force damage. The target disintegrates if this damage leaves it with 0 hit points. So if I cast it once and it doesn't do enough damage to bring it to 0, it's still alive.
Yeah.
It's just low, right? You know what I would do? I would say something like, if somebody casts a disintegrate spell at it and it doesn't bring it to 0 hit points, its metallurgic rebirth is suppressed for a round or something like that. Like, like when an ogre takes fire damage, it doesn't regenerate or whatever. Very similar to that. When you take disintegrate damage, you don't regenerate on your next round.
Or you could have it where if it takes disintegrate damage and it doesn't go to 0 until the end of the next turn, all incoming damage is like disintegrate damage. So it's like, hey,
Oh,
if you can't kill it with your disintegrate spell, you have 1 round to wail on it, and everybody basically, like, you damage it so much that everyone does it.
yeah.
And if you can get it down to that, so basically it's like you have 1 shot to kill it. If you didn't get it, you can run over and beat the shit out of it. But if you guys don't do collectively enough damage,
You know, I do kind of like that, because again, you got to think everything's happening in the same 6 seconds.
Yeah.
Right. So when we're talking about what's going on throughout this round, yes, my disintegrate might not be what dropped it to 0 hit points, but if I hit you with disintegrate and my teammates brought you down to 0 hit points this round, I feel like in this particular situation, that would make a whole lot of sense. Now,
so again, I don't mind there being something to do at the end. It just feels weird that it hands you what to do. And
yeah.
I think what Foxer is saying is that it had to be obvious, like I just had to know. But I feel like there's other ways to do it. And I feel like there's something better, because I just feel like having to need a certain spell and then having to get it from the thing, it's like, why even bother adding a step? Like, what's the concern here? Again, like, is disintegrate a save out? But it's already dead, so does it even get saved? So I don't really understand, like, what's the added need for the extra step? Or is it if you don't have a caster, you're fine, and this thing's never gonna die? Basically, if you don't have a go home.
So my instinct on this front is to say something like, you get the ability to destroy it from it. When you first bring it to 0 hit points, maybe its core falls out or something like that, and there's some device or there's something in there that enables you to disintegrate it with this thing that it gives you, right? So whether you have a caster or not, you now have the ability to erase it, but you're getting it from it. And it's like, I don't know if it's going to be like a wand, or if it's like just a little,
right.
whatever the device is, there's something that you have that you can use to find a way to activate this thing, or maybe something opens up on it, right? And it's got like a self-destructing, I mean, it's a construct, it was crafted, it was created, maybe it's got a core or something like that. Like, give them, like, because I definitely love the idea of, hey, you have to take this whole thing out all at once or it's gonna keep coming back. But number one, you got it down to 0 hit points once. So now when you are trying to work at it, it's exposed. It is like, you've done a lot of damage, you've done a lot of work. So now it's like, okay, if I can maybe give it like a higher AC, maybe but if I do a smaller amount of damage to that thing, it explodes and disintegrates it, right? And so you've seen Full Metal Alchemist, right?
Yeah.
And you know how the Philosopher's Stone is the core of like the homunculi.
Yeah.
Right. And like when Mustang was finally like taking was lust out, you just kept burning her until it could not regenerate anymore. It's basically what we're talking about here, like fully incinerating the whole thing all at once. But it was mostly the core, because he literally earlier in that same episode, he ripped the core out of her and tried to use it to save his dying friend. But as soon as he did, she started reforming around the core that he ripped out of her. It was like, nah, bro, you can't just take it from me. This core is me.
Yeah.
And so until that core goes, boom, like I would point it in that direction, so that yes, it's still disintegrate would still do the exact same thing that it would do if you use the disintegrate spell on it. It would work. Like, imagine they used the disintegrate spell on it before one of them just had it prepared and they knew that's how they needed to do it. Imagine they did it before it reached 0 hit points the first time. Then it's gone. You don't even have to enter into the second. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, Foxer, because this doesn't theoretically say that. It says this, the first time you would get it to 0 hit points, a burst of magic happened. So if I cast disintegrate on it and took it to 0 hit points, would this burst happen, or would it just go away? Because disintegrate specifically says it's gone.
Right.
Disintegrate, a disintegrated creature and everything it is wearing and carrying except magic items are reduced to a pile of fine gray dust. The creature can be restored to life only by means of true resurrection or a wish spell. So say we hadn't read this. Well, we have to have read this, because if I cast Disintegrate on it, the way this is written, if I cast Disintegrate on it before this occurs, how would you read that? Would he be gone?
Doctor says he would die.
He would die. Okay. That's what I'm thinking. That's exactly what I'm thinking. So then the rest of that would still function if you were to give them that ability after the fact. So yeah, but regardless, I absolutely love what this does. I love the increased, at the very least, I think that is an inspired ability. Going down to 0 hit points, regenerating, and giving them something, like when that happens, like rewarding you for doing such a good job, but also saying, haha, the fight's not over yet.
Right.
Get prepared for the rest of this stuff. You know what I mean? Yeah, I'm super here for it. I don't know how you feel about this. I might, after this regeneration, take away its metallurgic rebirth.
Ooh, more like
Just
certain
period.
amount of time.
Well, yeah. I'd say
lore wise, is like until
for the end of the fight.
hours
Yeah,
a
to
day.
the end of the fight. Yeah, something like that.
That would actually be pretty nice. Yeah. So even if it comes back, it's not a reset to square one.
Sure.
I like that. I think that's a much better idea.
Okay. All right, let's get into some of these actions. So we have multi-attack. Alloy can make 3 attacks or a single heavy attack. So I'm guessing these guys are going to be either classified as heavy. Yeah, it looks like heavy, and heavy. All right, cool. So let's take a look. First, we have Contempt for the Weak. The first time Alloy gets a creature to 0 hit points, it won't attack it anymore until all other allies of the creature have been incapacitated at least once, or the creature attacks Alloy again. Why is this? We've been talking about DBZ this whole time. Why does this sound like Goku?
Yeah.
It's like, yo, I want a full fight. I want a full fight. Yeah, I downed you, but go ahead, get back up again. Let's see what happens.
Right.
Let's see if you could truly take me. But
I actually kind of like that.
yeah. So it's like, I'm not here to like stomp you all out. I'll let you get back up again. Like, let him get up.
Right.
Okay.
I honestly think that's also sounds like it's pre-built for the spellcasters to give them a better chance of not being.
Oh,
hit while
that's
they're down.
that's kind of fair. Because if a spellcaster goes down and like you lose them.
Yeah.
Because theoretically, that's exactly what you want to do. Anybody who has the ability to disintegrate him, let me get rid of you instantly, like first, so you can't touch me.
Yeah, and Voxer confirmed again that even if he's not down the first time, if you down him with disintegrate, that's it. So
Okay.
he is vulnerable. Like that's his weakness.
That is his
weakness. Is
You know what's interesting? I feel like power word kill. If you try to use power word kill, I don't like. I know it sounds crazy.
Voxer?
I feel like
do you
if
say?
you use power word kill on it, it should trigger unyielding matter. I feel like that's what should happen.
Go to 0.
I know
Power
you
word
just
kill doesn't go to 0.
so then it's basically just removing life from the thing. It's just removing life from the thing. It's not putting you to 0. It's not changing your hit points at all. It's literally just removing whatever life is in you. What is this? Oh wow. So
When I was cleaning up, and I'm just like. Yeah, I'm just really curious to what Foxer says about power word kill.
I like the
'Cause that's
first one's a freebie.
right.
It's like Spider-Man. Everybody gets one. But yeah, Foxer, let me know what you think about power word kill on this creature, because let me see, what is power word kill? Is it
100 points or less, the creature dies.
I see know what level it is.
Ninth.
Is it 9th?
Yeah.
Then I feel like it should do it. Because imagine if I wished this creature gone or dead. Would it work?
I mean, wishes are powerful enough.
Yeah, if I just wished you to die. Like that's basically wishing the effects of the power word kill spell. Right?
I think wishes always trump everything.
Might wait.
I mean-
Yeah, I mean that's kind of what they're for. You know? So I wonder, could you? So you know how clerics have divine intervention? And it's basically calling their god down to like do something for them.
Mm-hmm.
Can you wish for divine intervention? Like, I'm not a cleric.
Yeah.
But
Well, I would.
is that bullying a god into doing a favor for you?
I would treat it not as a force of will, not as you're forcing one of their hands, unless of course it like if you had a divine trinket that was like a ring of wishes that came from a god, then you're probably asking that god, but he signed up for it. But if you just had a wish, and you said I want divine intervention, unless you specifically named a god in request, I think it's more like a flare gun. I think it's more of a I'm wishing for divine intervention, and the first god to go, fuck it, I'll play. I'm bored. I'll lend my power to this mortal, but you don't know what god it is. You don't know how powerful they are, and you don't know what their intentions are.
You don't know if they're gonna want you to pay me back later.
And then in High Point, same thing goes. If you're like, oh, I'm gonna wish for this god to respond, maybe that god does. And then maybe they're gonna have a conversation with who the fuck do you think you are, paging me like that, like you're my fucking buddy.
So then
Or-
you wouldn't be getting the effects of divine intervention then.
Well, they would still do it, but then they come back after you and go, do you know what the fuck you just did? Like, how dare you call me out of nowhere? You're not even a follower. You're not a paladin. Because basically, you're treating it like I'm a paladin. Here's my get out of jail free card. But so that would be one thing. Or again, in High Point, what might happen is you like, I want this god to respond. And if he's a very high enough god with ones underneath him, he might just go, someone else deal with this. And he just assigns one of his lower gods within his sphere. So they'll still do what you want. It's just not him responding. But I think you could wish for divine intervention. But I think in general, if you're just like, I wish for divine intervention, I think it's the
Because
flare gun concept. You just flare gun it, and whoever shows up.
I'm thinking about you and I have talked about gods and their politics between each other, right?
Mm-hmm.
And like how certain gods like will make deals or pacts with the other gods and be like, hey, I'm not gonna get involved in this or whatever.
Right.
And like not like for whatever happenstance, like a mortal comes within the knowledge of, oh, this god's like got a peace treaty with this god, but I'm gonna go use divine intervention to go specifically ask that god to counter that god's plans and screw with them. And like do something like that would be against that thing to get them to go to war with each other or something stupid like that. Like,
Right.
now granted, it's powerful magic, it's 9th level, but
It's also
like,
up to the god to figure out how they're going to respond to it. And that's again because gods have a no interference policy. But when you have a wish like that, it's up to them to be clever enough to give you what you asked for in a way that doesn't violate the wish.
some genie type shit.
Yeah, and it also makes sure that they're not going to. No god is going to let a mortal, at least nowadays. No god's going to let a mortal
Bully them.
like ruin a godly like interaction. Like how the like. Well, I mean, again, unless the adventurers barge in on it. But in general, some spell on the mortal plane is not going to interrupt two gods' negotiations. They'll most likely just laugh at it. He'll be like, it's more like that kind of thing. It's where you have like Coca-Cola and Pepsi, and then all of a sudden they're just like, blah blah blah, we're gonna take you down, blah blah. One of your employees just trying to send your formula. Isn't that funny? Stupid mortals, here, go smite him. I don't want that shit. And then they go back to thinking, I'm gonna take you down. I'm gonna make sure you go. But that was the thing, right? Is like they found out, like, hey, someone tried to give us your formula. There you go. We don't want it. Like respectful kind of thing.
Sure.
That's how I look at it, as they'd be. And honestly, some gods might go to each other and go, hey man, wish is coming through. I didn't really want to do this. And you might go, no. Do it. Just, I'm gonna, and you could just be like, no, he wants you to smite my whole temple. I fucking hate that guy. Do it. Send your worst. Like, I want, like, gods can be fucked up like that. Like,
Sure.
you and I could be having a testy relationship, but if some mortal wants to wish me to go one on you, you might go, actually, you know what? Do it. I want to see what happens. I'll let this one slide.
Interesting. I mean, that's fair. There's a lot of god politics, but okay. No, I'm here for that. But I really love this ability. I love the idea that like
Boxer did answer, by the way.
okay. Where are we looking?
Second to last.
I think it'd be fair for it to die, but I doubt someone would get to that point with the big 9 still in the back.
So basically, they do believe that yes, the 9th level power would kill it,
but they highly doubt that they would get to the point where it has only 100 hit
or
points
you're able to do it. Yeah.
with still having your 9th level spell slots.
Or just in general, you being to the point where you can get that 9th level spell slot before you fight it. Kind of like I feel like there's.
Listen, if you're not level 20, you get 9th level spell slots at level 18. If you're not level 20 fighting this thing, I feel like you will have a hard time.
It's more like there's no way that you wouldn't have burnt another 9th level spell.
Sure.
But it's only 400 points. It's only like a quarter of his health.
Literally, you literally got to chop 3/4 of its health down before you can actually do anything.
You totally got it.
Good freaking luck, man. You're gonna have to call down that freaking meteor swarm.
It is insanely high level. It's meant to be. That's the
okay.
thing that took Verdant's arm.
Yeah, it's crazy. This thing's yeah. It's theoretically. Hold on, let me go back to the top. 35 D10. 35 D10. That means it's at least level 35. Yep. Okay, so now let's get to some of these abilities. We have Blade Slash, melee weapon attack plus 16 to hit.
27.
Plus 16 to hit, one target, 26 average for 48 plus 8 slashing damage. Okay, pretty basic. Then you got Heavy Slash, still melee, still 16 to hit, but the target takes 53 10d8. Oh dang, that goes up by what, 6d8? And it's lightning damage instead. Okay. The target must succeed a DC 26 Constitution save or be stunned until the end of their next turn. Now, see, that's going to be crazy because again, if we're thinking that do you still have Verdant up? Mm-hmm. If theoretically your stance was accurate and they kept their plus 20 whatever for their battle, in order for him to fail this save, what's his plus to con saves?
Verdant?
Yes.
22.
22. They would have to get a 4 or less.
Sounds about right.
Or be stunned.
But if you took away the 10, that would be 14 or less. That doesn't sound as impressive.
True.
So I kind of like the 4 or less, as in, again, there's only a small window these things aren't going to...
I mean, yeah, that's fair. That's fair. They're real. Yeah.
So again, I think the lore is accurate. I think the screw up of or the mistake of the 10 is actually lore accurate.
I'm not mad at it. Let us know if you wanna keep it in, Foxer. But yeah. Okay, it says it's a DC 26 con saving throw or be stunned until the end of their next turn. Okay. So but you only get one of those attacks. So I can do 3 blade slashes. Or I can do 1 heavy slash.
Yep.
Wave. Ranged magic attack, 120 foot range. It is a plus 12 to hit with wisdom. Interesting. Probably because it's magic casting. And then it says 1 target, 21 damage or 5d6 plus 4 thunder damage. Okay, that's not bad. And then heavy wave, same. It's a ranged magic attack, but it's a 120 foot cone. Oh wait, a 90 foot cone. Wait, 120 foot range, 90 foot cone. What does that mean to you? Does that mean I can center it anywhere between 120 feet around me and point the cone wherever I want, like fireball?
Yeah, I don't know, because I mean, unless they were trying to say like, because you don't usually like identify a cone's width. It's just its length. It just goes out by 1 each time.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. Yeah, it must be that you can activate it at range, and then it activates.
Very interesting. Yeah,
okay, so it is. Okay, so I was incorrect. This is the first time I've ever seen it actually defining length and width. So
that is interesting.
So it maxes out. It goes out in a cone until 90 feet. Then it stops growing width-wise, but then continues another 30 forward. So it goes like this, and then straight out.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So it does this. So yeah, so your cone starts here.
So
and
I thought it
it's
would be
90
like
feet.
120 feet from you and 90 feet wide at the widest point, and then it just comes back diagonally and at you.
No. It's from you, goes out this way, but at 90 it just straightens out and then continues another 30 feet. That's how I read what Super just said. So it goes 120 feet in distance, but has a width of 90.
See, that's what I'm saying. Like the range. So if I just said it's a 60-foot cone, that means it's going to be 60 feet from me, and then whatever the width is, right? This is specifically articulating the width. So to me, it sounds like it would be 120 feet out and then stop at 90 feet, whatever that is, and then from those two 90-foot points, they would come back at me. That's what I read.
But that's kind of what I'm saying though, is because it wouldn't come back at you, because how a cone works is it's going to just add a square or a hex every one it go away, right? It's going one forward and one out. So the thing is that's why at 90, you're right, it would go in a cone until 90, but then it would just stop growing sideways and then just continue another 30 feet in a straight line, 90 feet wide. So it just looks like a cone, and then it just widens out into a beam.
So a
If Foxer,
15.
you're gonna have to chime in here a little bit and clarify.
For just talking about standard cones, for a 15, or let's say a 30-foot cone. 30-foot cone ends 30 feet away from me. It starts at me, ends 30 feet away from me.
So it's
Is it 30 feet wide
At
at its widest point?
Yeah, because it starts at 1, right in front of you, but then it goes 2, then 3, then 4, then 5. It gets wider every step of the way. So of course the cone widens every step of the way. So this widens until 90 feet, but then it just keeps going straight.
But if it's widening on both sides, it's not widening by one. If it's widening by one space,
I'm thinking of hex. I'm not thinking of squares. I'm thinking of hex. Because like, you have one hex and then there's 2 in front of it. And then I guess, there would be 3. Well, yeah, there would be 3 and then 4. But the cone goes wide as it goes forward. But I think this one is just supposed to go to a point to where it just goes and then just goes straight. But Foxer also just clarified as well. So
it goes expanding up to 90 feet, but goes 30 feet. So the way, because you were saying it is exactly right.
So imagine kind of like how like in DBZ, how when they do a thing, you see it cone out
and then
it flattens out into a beam.
yeah.
That's all this is doing, but that cone goes 90, then it flattens into a beam.
But only for 30, which
But then
means
30
the
more.
cone is a lot longer than the beam.
Yeah.
It's like a nub.
Yeah. It's just more of like the afterburn.
Oh, wild.
But that is insane though. That's absolute insanity. How like I don't even know why the extra 30 feet though. Why not? I mean, I don't know. It's like, why even bother like limiting the cone at that point?
I mean,
Why
it's
even
just
bother
massive
120?
anyways. It's a DC 22 deck save for half of a 16d8 damage. Thunder damage.
To be specific too.
The wave attacks. So they got thunder and lightning. Now, here's the deal. Thunder is theoretically like audio damage. Like a lot of the times when you're in thunder damage, you can get deafened.
Yeah.
Right? And like something like thunder wave, it can be
It's
heard
like
from up to
it's
300
like
feet.
It's literally like force, but it's in the air, so yeah, it's gonna hurt.
Yeah.
Yep.
So yeah, that's crazy. It's the most damaging attack so far. So if you're gonna do a heavy attack, honestly, why even bother with a heavy slash? The heavy wave is going to get so many people. It's the only AoE that we've seen so far. And
One target lightning damage versus a bunch of targets thunder damage.
yeah. But even the wave is one target thunder damage. Yeah, the wave is one target. So I'm shooting this wave at like a certain person, and that one person is hearing this.
But it's not one target. It's a cone. So it's anybody in said.
The regular wave, not the heavy wave.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah.
So the regular wave, it's right after it says plus 12 to hit, one target. So again, I can do the regular wave to 3 people. That is
But-
not
okay,
even.
But the reason is because it depends on if you're. Yeah, I guess the idea would be whether or not that you feel that that's going to be useful. Because yeah, it's either 3 of the other attacks, right? So it's 3 of the slash and wave combinations. Is blade slash and wave? Is any combination of that going to be more
Correct.
effective than just straight heavy or straight? And because heavy wave beats heavy attack or heavy slash. But then the question is, can any combination of blade slash and wave beat heavy?
I don't
And
think so. I don't think it does. Like strictly because of the number of people you can target. That AoE is, you could get 30 people in that AoE versus 3 targets with the other ones. Like that's huge to me. Yeah, I would honestly just maneuver myself and I would rock heavy wave every round.
And the other ones aren't even harder to dodge.
Well,
Or no,
this is the only one that you have the ability to try and dodge. And I'm super confused why you're doing a deck save for a thunder attack.
Well,
I would totally do a
Heavy
con
Slash
save.
That's a stun. Yeah.
I would totally do a con save for heavy wave because it's thunder damage. Because like, how are you dodging sound? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I honestly would switch the not necessarily the numbers, but the types. I would make heavy slashes lightning damage a deck save, and I would make heavy waves save what the heck? Although I get con save because you're only making that con save if you get hit with the lightning and the lightning's coursing through your veins and you have to basically resist. So it's not really like you're getting out of the way of the lightning. You already got hit by it.
You know, another thing too is just I would say I get the idea why blade slash and wave are a bit different because it's thunder and slashing. What I would probably do is give heavy slash the 16d8 plus 4 and give heavy wave the 10d8, or even drop that a little bit.
I actually don't mind that.
Just that way, yes, you're right. It still is a heavy hitter to a lot of people, but it's nowhere near as good when you're one-on-one. And that's the problem right now, is it is as good one-on-one as it is with a group. But what it needs to be balanced with, everything can be fine, but if it only did 10d8 or 6d8 to everyone, fuck yeah, I mean, you kill a bunch of fucking people. But there's no reason to lean on heavy slash, blade slash, or wave. So I would say that, yeah, realistically, heavy slash should be the 16d8. That's right.
Agreed.
But heavy wave needs to be dropped down, and blade slash and wave need to be brought up in such a way that their combination is just as good as a heavy slash. You know, like
yeah,
at least against other people, you know, either all in combination or across multiple targets.
And I'll say yes. And I think the multi-attack, one of the biggest advantages of that is going to be being able to change targets, being able to like attack multiple things, especially when you're in a party fight. Like you're out here going up against a bunch of adventurers, at least 5 to 7 or 8. I mean, who knows how many it's going to take this guy down. Maybe you brought some freaking hirelings or whatever with you. Although those guys are probably going to be cannon fodder anyways. But still, like that's basically what we're looking at here. So I totally agree with that. I think that would help it out a lot.
Because that's the only thing that I think is just out of balance. It's just heavy wave's great, but it's equally as good in both scenarios, which means that the rest of the combat isn't necessary.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Cool. Let's look at Charge Pierce. This is another heavy attack, so we can only do one of these around. Alloy chooses one creature it can see within 60 feet and locks on. This counts as a heavy attack, and Alloy starts charging up energy on its sword for its next turn. But while this period lasts, the effects of Metallurgic Rebirth are turned off.
Okay. So it's not healing when it's charged. So it's using its healing ability to charge its attack against a single enemy. So what
So
do with it?
So charging Pierce, I'm just locking on.
Yeah, so I want to know, like, so the next, I'm assuming the next ability is.
Oh, okay, got you. Yeah.
I haven't seen it yet. But
Yeah.
The next ability is the problem.
Okay, so but real quick, I wanna ask you, this thing has blind sight. So I asked you that question earlier about a wall. When it specifically says a creature you can see, can I see that creature behind the wall? If we're saying it's just a flat wall, there's nothing.
I'm gonna say this one requires line of sight to charge. So I'm assuming that this isn't just a lock on. It is truly you have to see that, you have to physically be in line of sight.
Okay.
So yeah,
definitely tell me what you think about that, Foxer. But let's read the piercing execution real quick, just so we can.
Foxer says yes. It requires line of sight. Direct line of sight.
Direct line of sight. Okay, got you. So even if I know you're behind the wall, I can't choose you to lock onto because there's something in the way.
Yeah.
Now the other question becomes: this is just an attack. Heavy charge is just one of my multi-attack. Can I move? I can move and then use my action to charge up and be like, all right.
Not say that you can't move while charging. You just can't heal while charging.
Now here's the deal though. Okay, let's read piercing execution real quick. Okay, so it says requires charge pierce to have been used the prior turn to be used. Alloy lunges towards the locked target and impales its sword arm through its chest.
I'm assuming that's up to 60 feet at lunges because we knew that the target would be 60 feet away. So I'm gonna assume you get the lunge the entire 60 feet.
Here's the deal though.
And it already has 40 feet of movement and a bunch of flies, so I get that that's just kind of basically a dash.
What happens if your target moves? Say I lock onto you one turn, and then I go into a room and close the door.
I think you would lose line of sight.
And so it would just fizzle, like you just waste my turn, theoretically.
I think it would waste the charge.
Well, yeah, because that's what I'm saying. Like that turn where I did the charge.
The previous one would have been, I think, would have been wasted.
Okay.
Unless it's a magical lock on that no matter what you do, you lunge after it magically through any barrier. Again, what if you teleport? What if you take the hide action?
Exactly. Exactly.
What if you start flying?
Again, but hide action's crazy though, because if that's what I'm saying. Like if there's a rogue that wanted to hide from this dude, like you can't really hide from me. I got blind sense. Like where are you hiding behind? Like where's your cover? Right? Yeah. Like you can hide line of sight, but I still know where you are perceptively. So let's looking at the end of this thing. It says it's a melee attack. It's a plus 13. It's 150 damage, 20d12 plus 20 force damage. And it says if alloy fails to go over the target's AC, the damage is lowered by 2 dice. So it still does damage to you regardless. You just lose 2 dice. And that's 2 out of 20. So you're still taking 18 of these dice. Mm-hmm. Per AC difference. Interesting. So if your AC is 20 and I rolled a 15, it would lose 10 dice.
Sounds like it. That math sounds right.
That's not bad. If the AC is 30 and they rolled a 26, which is 4 different, they would lose 6 dice. Yeah. Okay. If the attack gets the target to 0 HP, target also has to roll a DC 23 con save, and if it fails, it starts death saving throws with 2 failures. God bless America. Death saving throws are normally a DC 10, so you got a DC 23 to beat, but you get a con save. DC death saves, you get no bonus to your death saves. It's just a flat D20 roll. So still though, that's scary. This attack counts as a normal attack, but any subsequent attacks in this turn, this attack has been used are made with disadvantage.
Ooh, okay.
Full body drawing. Oh, that was just probably the.
It's because you've drawn so much. Yeah, so you can continue attacking this right after you lose this, but you drained yourself, so your subsequent attacks have disadvantage because you lost your recharge.
So I'm curious, what if this thing doesn't take them down? It theoretically says, I've impaled you, right? You're on. What if you're the person I keep attacking? I still have disadvantage?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I guess so.
I think it's kind of like, again, it's kind of like that stun aspect, right? Like it's like you're still able to act, but you were weakened in that moment.
Sure.
Yeah.
I
can imagine this is when Verdant lost his arm. He gets impaled, and then during that attack, he's just like, "Give me that," and then just gets his arm ripped off during the impalement. I can absolutely imagine that, because doesn't Verdant have a scar on their chest?
You could take a look.
No, they're tattoos. I thought it was a scar across the chest.
Oh,
That would make perfect sense that they got impaled when the arm came off. But that's kind of like my lore in my head.
So the question is, how would you rule it if somebody walked in between? Like, imagine
try to use their reaction to dive.
What's that?
Like so the Pierce went off and someone tried to use their reaction to get in between the two.
Just say they use. I made the example of somebody hiding behind a wall. What if instead of somebody hiding behind a wall, somebody else interrupts that line?
Like you jump behind somebody.
No, not even you jump behind somebody. Somebody else jumps in front of you.
Right.
So like you're within the 60 feet. You stay there within the 60 feet. The other person is like 40 feet in front of you.
Like do their whole like I'm gonna save you.
Does this go through them?
Or does it stop at them, or does it go around? I think that's narratively up to the DM. I think, again, this is one of those things, I don't know if it needs to be codified. I think that's kind of just narratively how you want to play this fight. Maybe it's like teleport. Maybe it's like, nope, I'm going to hit you. Maybe it's...
It does say you locked on to the...
Maybe it's like a sidestep where it's like that, anime thing where it's like, haha, I'm in your way. And it's like, just like, nope, I'm not right. I'm just right around. So I think narratively, it depends on how the DM wants to have that fight roll out, because this definitely is one of those, again, it's fascinating to see this from the point of view of, was this, this was kind of made for the lore, but also for the party, right? So I do like that there's a little bit of back and forth with, I'm attacking multiple things versus now I'm just one-on-one.
Mm-hmm.
And then again, trying to think of the lore of this fight with Verdant, it makes sense why Verdant had such a hard time, why Verdant basically was able to capitalize long enough to get away, but not necessarily win.
Sure.
But I would be curious to see, again, because we don't know much about the players. We never really got a full breakdown of what their loadouts looked like exactly. So we know that they were capable, but we don't know, how capable and how much pre-prep they were, right?
Sure.
But all we have is,
I think,
basically this fight in Verdant.
It's interesting. Pokeniner brings up a point. Is this is basically a telegraphed nuke. Now, I would say I agree with that only to the point that the players know what happens when this dude locks on.
Yeah.
Because again, like I was talking about earlier, if I'm the DM and I'm describing to you what happens, I'm gonna tell you, you see Alloy, you see him deepen his stance, you see him squat down, and you see him prepare, but you have no idea who he's locked onto. Well, you see his face.
You don't know what that means yet.
You don't know what that means. You don't know who he's locked onto. You don't know what's going on. It could be like, oh, he's gonna fireball. He's gonna explode. Everybody just run for the hills. It's like when you're playing Marvel Rivals and an ult goes off. Everybody just runs away.
The thing too is, again, when this is kind of one of those moves I don't think is meant for when there's the party round. I think this is one of those one-on-one moves, and so it's kind of one of those things, right? There's within 60 feet of distance of you. He does this because he's probably confident enough he's gonna come after you, right?
Maybe you're the last one of the party alive or something like that.
Yeah, or again, the fight with Bert. It kind of felt like a one-on-one,
sure,
God v God kind of thing. So when he does the lock-on, it's kind of like that bluff of, are you gonna run and try to get out of my range of you, or are you gonna close distance and hope that you can try and stop? Because he's also not easy to stop. It's not like you're just gonna get in his way.
Yeah.
This lock-on definitely, I was worried about it wasn't going to do enough damage, so I appreciate that 150, because even against Verdant, it's going to take at least 3 of those to take him out. You know what I mean? It's not going to be a an insta kill right out the gate.
So I agree with you, Pokenon. You do need to see the player, but being able to see the player and that being public are, I would say, are two different things, because this guy has blind sight. So just because I know there's nothing between you, me, and the wall doesn't mean I'm visually looking at you, right? I can stand here and I can be looking this way, and then when I pop off that way. Like, that's absolutely a plausible scenario for what's going on, especially with the abilities this thing has. Again, this thing is flying. You can look at it as him like charging up like a Super Saiyan or whatever the heck you want to call it. He's doing his Kamehameha. Yeah, exactly. Like there's a lots of ways that I would say you can be creative without like letting the players know. Like, eventually they're going to catch on to the mechanic of what's happening, but just like you would be able to catch on to the telegraphs of boss fights in something like Elden Ring or whatever the case may be, you can like learn the attack patterns of these people and learn how to do different things. But the possibility that the right person doesn't make the right move in the right time, it's still possible. It's still, you can know he's about to charge up, but
it only takes him to get this off successfully once to know what it is.
Dude,
but the once can be all it takes, right? Because that could be the death of your healer. That could be the death if it's a one-on-one. That could be the final move. It just really depends on when he tries to like roll it into the fight.
And the fact that even if you miss their AC, you're still doing damage to them. That's crazy to me. But I love it. Like, it's crazy, but I think it's so good. And I think that no matter what, like, I love that mechanic. I love that idea. I wish more things would have something like that. But again, I love that. I also, seeing as this is like a creature, a boss, I kind of like the idea of this being like a recharge on like a 5 or a 6 type deal, and not being able to like, being able to like spam it every round. Well, I mean, theoretically you can't, because you have to charge Pierce every single time. But still, like,
there's a small built-in, but I see what you're saying. But I think the pre-built-in's enough, because again,
sure,
I think this isn't meant to be like a go-to ability. I think this is one that's, you know, again, kind of like a power, you know, built-in kind of kill kind of thing. Where it's it's really designed to be strategically used.
Dude, 150 damage, you can do serious work, and that's average damage. That's average damage. Yeah. Imagine if you maxed out, dude. Is that 220? 240. Maxed out, you're doing 240 damage. If you get all 20s on your, or get all 12s on your D12s, like,
yeah, it's
crazy. That's crazy. And this thing's
got
a.
The players asked for this. That's the, you know, the insane thing. They like Super Fox said in chat, like, they're masochists. They wanted this, but it is an interesting build. I'm you know, I was looking at it before, and I almost caught myself off guard. I forgot how high I rated Verdant and how much we liked it for, you know, again, for what it was. You know, it had its right place, it had its right abilities, and yeah, I gotta give that credit. But I will say that in comparison to Verdant, I'm not as happy with this one. I'm not as excited with this one, and maybe there's a little bit of bias just because, you know, I looked at Verdant as maybe the hero of the whole thing.
Sure,
but at the end of the day,
strength.
Within the context of the lore, within the context of the campaign that this is supposed to, like, you know, be within, and again, only with the context of understanding the fight with Verdant, as interesting as all of this is, and as interesting layers that there are, I don't think it's complete enough to really say that it feels as enriched as Verdant did. Verdant felt more thought through. This, while powerful and while it fits what it's trying to do, but not everything it's trying to do fits it.
Yes, I know exactly what you're talking about. Like, for me, it's I feel like I use this word too much because it's one of my favorites, but like the synergy of the build, the putting all the pieces together and how well they work with each other as you're doing with what you're doing. I love a lot of the abilities. I love this ability of the lowered AC. I love what was the other one that was up here? Just the contempt for the weak. I think that's beautiful. The idea of getting somebody their spell slots back, but again, when you put everything together as, hey, this is what this creature is, I agree, it doesn't feel like, it almost feels like a Mr. Potato Head. Like there's a bunch of different pieces, but some of them almost look like they could be pieces to something else. Like, yeah, it's still a person. Yeah, it's still got all the pieces and the parts, but I feel like, you know,
fits at the core. Every piece fits the core, but all the pieces, when looked at together,
don't necessarily fit each other.
Idea, not like Verdant. Verdant felt more together, more cohesive, more like something that I could absolutely envision. This is something that I'm having to feel like I have to stretch to justify how it works.
And again, like mechanically, it's fine. Overall, mechanically, it's fine. I mean, there might be some adjustments that I would make, but like, there's no problem with it. But I think a lot of, the way you and I game is very much character driven, lore driven, like purpose driven. And I think that is where elements of it break down for me. And again, it's by no means bad at all. It is just, does it feel like everything that is here is what should be, is what I want it to be, is not necessarily what I want it to be, but is does everything here like fit, like Mr. Potato Head versus a puzzle. And a puzzle, not only does this piece fit with the piece next to it, but the piece above it, below it, next, all the sides, everywhere, you know? And so that's what I would say. I think a lot of these things, like you say, connect to the base, Mr. Potato Head, but not necessarily to each other. So, and again, I still think it's phenomenal. And I still think they all point the creature in the same direction. So I still like it a lot. Like I said, I think there could be some slight adjustments, and I don't think it's too far away from something that you could, what I would make feel really synergistic, make feel like it fits in the right puzzle. You know, like I don't think it's too far away from becoming that. You know, because there's some things where it's like, yeah, that fits to this base, but like, God, those things are like miles apart. It doesn't feel like anything's miles apart from each other. It just feels like some of it is just shifted a little bit or just off a little bit, but still, no, it's very interesting. That's the whole, that's the whole kit and caboodle. That's it. That's us right here.
Yeah, I again, it fits in where it was meant to be built. Obviously, this is not meant to be your standard everyday run-of-the-mill boss battle. Like, this is not meant
for that.
I mean, this isn't even really a level 20. I mean, this is definitely a post-level 20 type of concept for a very specific type of campaign. But looking at it through the lens of what it is, what the campaign comes from, the players that are against it, and especially the lore aspect of this is what took Verdant's heart. We were already impressed with Verdant and how it basically was. But considering that was,
especially with how scary it was,
the lore that we have going against this, now I'm a little bit more understanding, but at the same time I'm also confused, because considering the abilities that Verdant had and this has, again, this is where maybe I'm also being a little bit biased. Maybe I would have given this a slightly higher score if I didn't come into it from the mindset of specifically going against Verdant and Verdant losing the arm and getting away. Because again, they didn't have enough correct abilities to really count for this thing. So without more knowledge, now granted, there's nothing that says it couldn't have had stuff, people, we don't really know exactly what happened. All we know is that they faced off, they lost an arm, and this thing survived. But the more we read, the harder it was for me to really see Verdant's powers in and of themselves, allowing.
Is that me or is that Vortex?
What's up?
Kage mind telling it. Oh yeah, it was.
Oh yeah. I don't know why this mic is so low. I gotta fix some of these. It's been turned off for so long.
Oh yeah, I see you not spiking like crazy high over here, but fair enough.
Just because your and my voice are a little bit different when it comes to this particular microphone.
Yeah, fair enough.
But yeah, so that's kind of where my mindset is the more we dove into it, the more I was like,
do you want to look at this? Does this look like this mic is muted?
No, we shared the mic. We're in the middle. We're both in the middle.
Oh, we're both in the middle.
Yeah, because we go through the same thing.
Got you.
Mic just has,
Okay.
different settings, so it's probably just something that I have to tweak.
Okay,
later.
fair enough. Sorry.
But yeah, it's just I get it. It fits where the setting that it's supposed to come from, but I don't buy that directly one for one. Verdant shouldn't have won or even survived.
Yeah.
Verdant didn't have enough things as is, right? Just as is, just as what we were saying. Didn't have enough to 1-to-1, like 1v1 this thing. No way. Now, granted, could have had buddies.
I will say, kind of hinting to what you mentioned earlier, I'll say the one thing it does have over Alloy is mental stats. Okay. So the biggest thing I can say to it / for it, and I've seen this a lot in like anime and other things like that, is like the weaker person will find a way to exploit whether like whatever element of this thing that they see remains constant, whether it's your arrogance, whether it's your pride, whether it's your calculated whatever.
Well, and this could be as simple as knowing that it will let you go down, so prepare it, but knowing that it's weak against disintegrate. Maybe those two things.
Sure.
It let it go down, and it was like, okay, I'll stay down. I'll act like I'm down. Like after it lost its arm, came back and disintegrate and then bounce. Like again, I'm not, but I'm just looking at it as in, great example, especially narratively. But at the end of the day, that doesn't do anything in fighting, right? Like having higher mental stats doesn't directly say that in this fight you're going to actually.
Yes, but I'll say stuff like, and.
No, I didn't forget that they can summon it. I just don't. I really don't think that those summons really would have. Again, this thing has too much.
I fully forgot it could summon elementals.
But I just don't think the elementals were really going to. I mean, granted, it does thunder and lightning damage.
So
one of those elementals would have.
I'll say
a little bit more like robust against it.
I'll say, first of all, did any of those elementals have the ability to stun or something like that? Second, if it uses contempt for the weak. Imagine what do you call it? Verdant goes down. It used its charge ability. I imagine, like, when I first heard about that last ability, its charge ability, I imagined it impaled its arm like on a wall, and he had to like rip his arm off to get out of it, or whatever, like something like that. Like that was the first thing that came to my mind. But imagine he does that to him, and he falls down. And he goes unconscious, right? And so he's going after the dude's elementals now because of his contempt for the weak. He leaves him on the ground. Imagine he rolls a nat 20 on one of his death saves and comes back up with like 1 hit point, but he's still on the ground. And he uses that opportunity to dip out there while he's fighting his elementals or something stupid like that. Like that's the type of stuff that I can see occurring. Because you're right, like I'm imagining he fled because he feared for his life. He's like, I'm not going to beat this guy.
Or again, he couldn't destroy it. Like realize it was reforming and goes, I don't have
disintegrate. Exactly.
Or doesn't know. Again, doesn't know.
Sure.
And that's the thing. Again, lore wise, there's a lot of things going on there. I just say, like, again, pound for pound, HP to HP, AC to AC, and damage to damage.
Is Verdant a spellcaster at all? Does what they have spells in it?
They are. They have Charm, Nature's Dominion, which is like being able to summon. Legendary resistance 3 times per day, multi-attack, Nature's Strength when uncloaked. They have an Unarmed Strike, Treacherous Thorns, and then they have their Summon Elemental, and that's it. So they have no other spells or anything. So kind of a spellcaster-ish. I mean, maybe you could say that constitutes them being a spellcaster since they can summon. That would probably put them like in the druid category, so at least a half caster. But again,
if it's just summoning, I would say that that's more because like the harpy, they have their cry, and even though it's a magical ability, I wouldn't calling them a spellcaster. Like it's just like an innate ability that person can do. So if it's just that, I can chalk it up to that's just a thing that Verdant can do. You know what I mean? So I'm curious what Pokemon's talking about when they're talking about secret intent. I think is that the charge ability?
I think the idea is whether or not, like this is where I have a hard time with this because I disagree with Pokemon's take on this. This is where I think it comes down to player entitlement, and even like Pokemon's said, their biggest issue with it is because of accountability and not holding accountability. That's
I see what you're saying.
And my biggest issue is like
So
agreeing with metagaming for the sake of there can be a DM who will just change the rules on the fly and not tell you about it because you don't know ahead of time is why I disagree with, it's the same thing of like, okay, but if you knew absolutely everything, then this game is not a challenge. Because the moment I say you're up against this, you're just gonna be like, okay, hold on, stop. I know exactly what we have to do. And that's not a game anymore. And part of this game is exploration. Part of it is storytelling. And so for me, it's one thing to say like, hey, trolls, it's very common knowledge that they're against fire, right? I don't necessarily say that if you know something, that doesn't necessarily mean it's metagaming. But when you go out of your way to say that my knowledge trumps everything in game because it's only fair that I know, so you can't accidentally not held accountable because
So-
I don't know to hold you accountable and you abuse that, it's like that's being a bad DM. But
And
I
this-
don't think
this-
that's approving of metagaming to that extent and requiring everything to be fully known by everyone at the table to be fair.
and this is where I get where Pokeniner's coming from when it comes to, because my solution to what you're talking about is don't game with those people.
Exactly.
Game with the right people. But
Exactly.
I understand that D&D has evolved to the point where it's no longer, hey, let's sit down with your friends, and it's almost like online gaming.
Yeah.
Like when you go on to play Marvel Rivals, I'm in a game with a bunch of randos I've never met before, right? And a lot of them are cheaters.
And
a lot of them are going to be like, "Oh, I'm mad you're not switching off Widow, so I'm going to throw this game," and like all this stupid stuff. Like there's this air of, like you said, entitlement that people can bring to the game. And so in a situation like this, I can see Pokeniner being like, "Hey, there's a bunch of asshole DMs out there that just want to flex on everybody else and just be like, no, I did it this way. No, I did it this way. You guys," like I genuinely feel like I ran into one of those when I started doing D&D online during COVID. Like I was in some random
run into that
Discord,
too.
and I'm like, yeah, I at a certain point, like my character ended up dying, and I was like, I'm just gonna bow out of this game. I don't want to keep playing. I don't want to make a new character.
And-
I don't want to try and get him back
and
or
this is
anything. I'm just
where-
like, it's not the vibe for me.
And you said
you
it
know?
beautifully, like if it's one thing where they're just like, hey guys, you're just up against some trolls today, just run of the mill trolls, we're just gonna do some trolls. All right, sweet. Well, I mean, I'm a mage. I've studied my whole life. This is my hometown. I know that these things are nearby. Fireball. Yeah, they're immune to fire. That's an asshole DM you shouldn't play with, and I get that. Because again, that's the whole thing of like, dude, you just said run of the mill, and now you're saying that that's the most run of the mill thing for trolls, and you're saying that you've changed it. And it's one thing to say, hey, there might, I run homebrew, there might be some changes. Again, like that's what I do is like, hey, if you come in with some pre-knowledge, just understand there might be some changes. It's all based in lore. There's all reasons, and it's not like I tried to like fundamentally trick you. But and I get wanting to keep that sanctity of accountability, wanting to keep that sanctity of I have behind my DM screen what I say this thing is immune to or vulnerable to, and suddenly you pull out this grand scheme where I didn't plan for and go, well, I'm gonna scribble that out and go no, instead because you didn't know that. I get having that accountability, but to say that the standard should be, hey guys, you're fighting this dragon, here's their entire stat sheet, so everyone's 100% aware of what you're facing, that is the line of metagaming where
Because
if you don't have a reason to know it, and it's just one of those things. I feel like to require that is that level of player entitlement I feel uncomfortable with as a DM, because it's like, so basically what you want me to be is your narrator for your choose your own adventure book.
You want me to be the computer for your video game.
And that's what I feel, to be honest.
Yes.
And again, Pokemon, I'm not saying this about you. This is not a personal comment about you.
But, like-
this is my personal take of why I feel like players have that entitlement is we have a friend. We've had a player that I've tried to involve, and we ran into this where whenever there was something that in lore didn't line up with the book, they had a problem because their expectation was ruined. And they couldn't do the thing that they felt they should be able to do. Now, you and I have had those conversations, but usually you understand after conversation. But there are some people who are like, but no, because of this, and this is how it meant to be, I should get my way.
Here's where I think the fundamental difference is. It's when you have to understand what game you're playing. If I sit down and I'm playing a game with you on a checkered board with black and white squares, and I go to move a piece and you move a piece in a very different way, you're playing chess, I'm playing checkers. You're literally playing different games. You're like, you're not allowed to do that. You can't do that. That's not how that works. we're playing a different game, bro.
Yeah.
And so it's super important to be transparent about the game that you're playing so that people can walk in with their eyes open as to what's happening
I
here.
think a good example is like Monopoly. If you say, hey guys, we're just gonna play Monopoly tonight, and you know, we're traditional. So that you go into the expectation. And then all of a sudden, well, oh yeah, no, free parking. We play with free parking. And all of a sudden, oh, we play with double money if you land on go. Oh, and we also allow you to trade with outside stuff, not in-game stuff. And all of a sudden, these rules pop up. That is frustrating, and that lacks accountability.
Same thing with Uno. There's so many random
But
unique rules for Uno.
Going, hey guys, you know, we have a couple house rules. I don't know all of them off the top of my head, but please be adjusting as we go.
Sure.
Hey, you landed on go, you get double the, like, it's not like a one up of, oh, I didn't tell you guys, because you can't plan.
Trying to keep secrets from people. Yeah.
But that's where I feel like Pokémon has a valid point, right? When the accountability has been broken and that intent is misused, I get it, because there are a lot of DMs who are just not clever enough to follow through with their plans. But I just don't think the solution to that is to advocate for absolute metadata and absolute metagaming and take away any value of the storytelling, because it does for me feel like you're basically telling me, hey, story man, don't change anything of my expectations, just give me a good story, but don't allow me to be upset about it. And that's just not the way I D&D. Again, that's my West Marches forgotten to kind of style game.
To Pokeniner's point, I get the fact that I could theoretically change the target that I had planned ahead of time, but also the reality is I could change, like, because when you look at the top, when you look at any of these any monster in the monster manuals, they have a static health and they have a rolled health. Which health is the DM using? You don't know. You have no idea. So the DM mid-fight could change how much health they have, because they're not obligated to tell you how much health they have. So it's the exact same concept about holding them accountable for how much health this creature has, that's holding them accountable for which creature they're targeting. So you can use that argument, but I think that there has to be an element of trust in the game.
Yeah.
There has to be an element of, like,
you just touched on it, because that's what Pokémon's example was, is, you know, if a mechanic says you choose a player, so if, you know, if everyone says, okay, we have our ideas, what do you do? What do you do? What do you do? What do you do? How do I know that you choose a player, that you've kept your decision? But it's like, if that is important, then the accountability starts up front. Everyone say what you're going to do and it doesn't change. But I don't know. It's to me, it's that thing of like, the secret intent is part of the game, but there's different types of secret intent. If player to player, you guys can have secrets all you want. But again, I don't like secret intent in terms of player to DM. Like when you say, hey, DM, you know, every morning for the last month, I've been doing this thing I never told you about. So therefore I now have this thing that I didn't tell you about. And now I'm going to abuse it in a way that you couldn't have predicted. I don't like that. That's not a good game, because again, the DM is there to make the world do the thing. If I don't know you were doing that, I can't have actually planned what's going to happen and you're going to derail the game. But the accountability from the DM is, that's the point of their job. Like a DM is supposed to give you the consistency. We always advocate for consistency. If you all agree on a rule, kind of like Monopoly, you all agree that free parking gives you the money from the center, then you all agree that that's what that does. And the consistency is whenever you play, that happens. I think the problem is when people either get used to that rule or don't like that rule, and then they go to a different game and aren't told up front, and then they're like, well, my game's ruined because that's not my expectation.
Sure.
And it's like, okay, I get that, but there are better ways than saying I need the entire absolute every detailed list of every twist and turn and loophole you guys have ever made in this game so I can be as up to date as you. And it's like, but the whole point of how you get there with those rules is things come up. They kind of happen naturally. So, and again, maybe that's a bad analogy, because again, hard rules versus soft rules. But again, my biggest thing with secret intent is, yes, there are lines to be drawn with secret intent.
Sure.
But
on both sides.
But when it comes to something of like, again, knowing what you're up against with the DM, that accountability is part of the trust of the DM doing their due diligence as a DM. And if you find your DM not holding accountable to the things that they do or to the things that they create, that's when you ditch.
So it's interesting. So you make the point that this mechanic doesn't exist in base D&D, but I would argue against that, because sorcerers have something called subtle spell. and there are plenty of spells. And I think subtle spells, basically, you don't make somatic or verbal components. You don't use somatic. You don't have to use somatic or verbal components to cast the spell. So basically, you can cast a spell without any obvious things. So the DM can just say that person cast a spell on you. So you can't do that. Like, that's a mechanic that's built into 5e. So they don't have to have, like, if you're in combat and I say that you have no idea what that person did that turn. If they turn invisible, right? I could just say they're right behind you. I may take one of my characters. I say that they turned invisible. It's their turn first, so they have to move on their turn. Yep. And then you move. They just happen to be right behind you. I moved after you did. How'd you know where I was going to go? I didn't know where you were going to go. I moved there first. Did you though? Did you? Are you really being honest about that? Are you really able to be held accountable to that? There's so many things that you can do as a DM or as a player to not be held accountable for your actions. Because theoretically, if we're playing D&D, and I would pose this question to you, Pokeniner, if you're a DM and you have a player and they say, I cast invisibility on myself, are you going to make them tell you where they walk to? Are you going to make them tell you, the DM, where they're walking to on their turn?
Of course you would.
You would be. I know you would, absolutely. But with this mindset, theoretically, a player, rules as written, can be like, I don't have to tell you where I'm going. I'm invisible. You wouldn't know. You would have no idea where I'm going. Like there's that argument for, hey, if we're gonna run into rules as written and we're gonna go hard into rules as written, I as a player can do that just as much as the DM, and the DM can do that just as, like, you can have this fight with anything that comes up in D&D. At the end of the day, like I said before, you have to have an element of trust with the people at the table that you're playing with. You have to. And if I don't trust you, like, plenty of people will like roll their dice roll. Am I going to look at every single one of your dice rolls? Am I going to check every single time you tell me what you rolled? I know a lot of people like have the rule of checking nat 20s, but if I just never miss and I'm just rolling in front of myself and I just never miss, I'm just telling you that I rolled whatever I rolled to just hit exactly where I need to.
Player, what if player wants to derail the fun, and so they're like, no, I missed. They just, every time they just say, oh no, they don't. So they're just not even playing. They don't want to play your game. Like,
sure.
Like, there's so many different cases, but yeah, I'm not. Again, I'm not really sure if we were on the same path as what Pokémon was talking about with secret intent. But again, it's my biggest thing is like there doesn't. I don't think there needs to be any kind of codified 5th edition rule about laying everything out. Like one of the comments was like, "There's never been a monster."
Yes.
You pick it and then it follows it regardless of what happens. But it's like that's one of those situations where if you don't want to run a instant dynamic combat, right? If you don't want to run a game where, again, I've struggled with this for a long time because I'm not a personal fan of, okay, everyone knows what they want to do, let's go through it, and you all, there's 2 enemies, you all end up attacking one of them, and the last person goes, oh, they're dead, I switch my target. And it's like,
do you though?
Technically, you wouldn't have had time. And that's kind of, I think, what Pokemon is talking about is like, technically the accountability is that you knew who you were going to attack, but because in your 6 seconds you knew he was dead, but you didn't, because 2 arrows hit him in the chest and then this guy hits him with a sword, but he's technically, in your mind, he's still standing. You're in the middle of swinging your sword. You didn't just.
That's what we were talking about earlier with the disintegrate. If we get you, the disintegrate doesn't take you down, but all those other things do, then like like you went down because of that.
And so so that's kind of, I guess, like my thing too is like and there's ways to work around it. I just don't know if that's a codifiable thing.
I get it, because and I'm not gonna lie, I have a lot of respect for Pokeniner and a lot of the creations that he does, because he takes what exists and uses it as a foundation to build on top of, right? Maintaining the balance, maintaining a lot of the synergy, maintaining a lot of those elements that already exist in 5th edition, and just accentuating them and applying them in different and unique ways. And I love that, because it helps me to see what already exists in a new and fresh way. But I will say I really do respect and appreciate the people that think outside the box, that do something that's never been done before. Because at a certain point, everything that exists in 5th edition was never done before. Somebody had to come up with it. Somebody had to try it out, and it's homebrew.
And
a lot of this,
and yet people complain, well, what your homebrew isn't tested in 5th edition wasn't tested one day. But y'all are
it's got to get there somehow, you know, like be my first playtester. Come on now, let's throw down. Let's see what happens, you know. Let's see if it feels good. Let's see if it doesn't feel good. Like, be open to that kind of stuff. But, you know, at the end of the day, it is what it is. And I think that, again, and this is honestly the way that I see a lot of this stuff is just be smart about the people that you choose to play with, man, because you want to make sure that, like, and if something like this, if you see something like this, like, understand that it's like, hey, if I'm not comfortable playing in a game with something like this, that's okay. Like, that's totally okay to not feel comfortable playing in something like this, to not want to do something like this, you know. And if you do, great. If you don't, voice that. Like, so many at the beginning of so many campaigns, they have these like little checklists of things like, hey, what are you comfortable with? Are you comfortable with gore? Are you comfortable with sexual innuendo? Are you comfortable with like all these other things? And it's going to be unique to each person. So every single time one of those things happens, you got to be like, hey, I respect you. I respect where you're coming from. I'm here to ensure that what is happening is above board, that everyone's okay with it, and that everyone at the table is having a good time.
Yeah.
If that's not what's happening, then it just is what it is. You know what I'm saying? Like, but you can do something hopefully to affect that. Like, address stuff with your DM. Be like, yo, I feel kind of sketchy about that, or I feel kind of whatever. But yeah, it's a good time. Hey, Hecate, what's happening, brother?
What's going on, Hecate? Nice to see you. Just in time for the score.
Fabulous. Yes, let's do this.
So
let's do this.
9. I definitely, I can't. I don't see this as being complete enough or feeling like it fills the same space within that campaign. But it definitely still gets an inspiration, because it definitely is worth discussing.
A lot of cool stuff in there. A lot of cool stuff in there.
So yeah, good guess, Fox. It will be a 6. Yeah.
Okay.
Nice guess. But yeah,
I've been getting real good at my guesses. Like, the past 3 ones that we've done, I've hit on the nose. Like, I always put it in the in my little spreadsheet just before.
To do predictions. I should just do predictions before every stream, so people can start to like bet on it.
Well, I mean, like, I have to hear the whole thing. I have to hear you respond to it. I have to hear your take on a lot of the things, because I know you're processing your score. Things are going up and down as you go through, and like that is really what I'm analyzing. Is I'm like, okay.
I mean, I'm glad again, this is that thing, right? Like, we made this whole rule like so many years ago. I'm glad I'm consistent enough that I am predictable. No, but it was going to be a 6. You literally typed it right as it. It's solidifying the idea.
You know, I would say it's less predictable, kind of, but like you follow a logical path, and that logical path, you know. There are some variables that we're not aware of. There are some things that are going on in your head that we might not be aware of. So like, there's chance for variance here and there, but a lot of the elements, like, they've been fairly consistent. I think, you know, you demonstrate that with a lot of how you DM and how you do a lot of things. So I really appreciate it. But no, it's good. Yeah, I figured as much. I'm not gonna lie, I figured as much. But whatever, I'll take it. You were just gonna do it anyways.
I was like, you threatened.
You're just saving their points. That's all you're doing.
There you go.
You gotta make them spend the points. Okay, you gotta make them spend the points. Whatever, it's fine.
All right. Well, you were asked what your score. If you had a 1 out of 10.
Oh God. See, I hate that question. Like, I'm so glad I don't do scores, because
it just doesn't work the same for you.
Because here's the deal. There are so many things that exist in my world because of how it's created and how like what everything is, that even in the lore, fantastical inappropriate things have the ability to exist in there, right? So this is like, my scores are purely based on vibes. And I know that sounds like my scores are going to be so much less consistent than Vortex's. But my scores are purely based on vibes. I will say there's enough of stuff that I like here. Like there's enough stuff that I like here. I could not use it as is. I could not use it as is, because if I'm going to run this, it has to make enough sense for me to be able to like run it and to like to be intuitive in how I do things with it. But
that's all my score really is. It's just how close is it to being able to be usable the way that I would use it.
I would probably give it a 7. For me, I would probably give it a 7.
I think that's the first Cinepoint we've ever given.
Yeah.
Don't get used to it.
Don't.
All right. Well, it is almost 9.
Let's at least let you give an outro from your chair.
No. Finish it up. You finish up the outro. I'll even give you the button. It's the first button on the second row.
The thing went away. Like,
yeah, it'll light up when you press the button. But it's
action.
No, all the way down. Yeah, first, and then it will be that second. When you want to kill the stream, it'll be that button.
This one right here.
When we're done. That will be the last button.
You're making me do this?
Yeah, go ahead. Actually, if you want, press on the top right, the second to last at the top. With the two.
This guy?
Not the screen.
Okay.
Yeah. There. Look at that. Look at that. You're catching on.
Wow.
So go ahead.
Wow.
You do our outro.
You see, I'm here for the outro all the time, but I have no idea what it consists of.
It doesn't consist of anything. It's literally just it's me rambling until I finally get to the point where I say cheers.
Yeah. All right.
I try to fit in the fantastic weekend and great week, but
you're very consistent with that. You're very consistent with that.
And then I just stumble with the rest.
Fox, you're gonna need to take a nap, bro. You're gonna need to take a nap for sure. Next week's review. Well, Vortex, what's next week's review? It should be accurate on the list. It should be accurate on the list. So you should be able to look.
Let me check the community.
If I'm right, it's a Dez submission. See, he gets to be me, making me be him. All right.
Next week we have a new background from Dez called The Doctor.
Oh, that's
not
right.
to be confused with Doctor Who, but it is a Doctor background.
Facts. Okay. The Doctor.
If that doesn't have, it might go pretty quick. So depending on how we feel, there is a subclass from Pokeniner that we might be able to take a stab at, but that might be the next week, which is Path of the Damned.
Oh yeah. I've been looking forward to that one. Yeah. So, very interesting. I like barbarians and stuff.
Coming up, y'all.
All right, we'll see what happens. But Soul's working on something else.
Woo.
Cart, is Cart still here? I'm so curious if Cart has because we had the Soul Hecate Cart trio.
Is that because I don't think we have all three.
We don't have all three. I don't have one from Cart yet. So Cart, if you're here, I want to know if you're still working on that. If you're still gonna sling us some chain sorcerer type stuff.
Take your time.
But yeah. You're working on a few before I submit.
One update though.
I'm also waiting for
because July's coming up. I gotta do some prep this coming week, but lightsabers.
Oh yes.
Lightsabers are coming.
Yes. We're not doing that this Friday.
No, that's next month. But
next month. Okay, cool.
It's coming.
Cool. Sweet. Love it.
We're definitely gonna have to do probably like that one. I'm okay doing like if we're gonna build that and go do it, it's gonna be like a community created one. I am 100% okay making that a sub only giveaway. I mean, like if you want.
Oh heck yeah! Oh heck yeah! Oh heck yeah! Is this gonna be a thing where we're streaming when we go to purchase the stuff too?
I'm gonna figure that out. I'm gonna figure out how, because we have to figure out how we're gonna let them select how it looks and everything, and then how we build it. But then what's probably gonna happen, it's gonna be a sub only raffle or giveaway. So you have to be a sub, and then you'll be able to basically buy tickets through the channel points.
Okay.
So the longer you've been here, the more. But we'll probably cap it at we'll figure it out. We need to figure out
what
to make it really worth it, because it's gonna be our biggest giveaway yet.
Yeah. It's gonna be dope.
Custom lightsaber built by us for you, designed by you. We are doing that.
Absolutely. Okay. But yeah, I'm super excited for that. I'm working on 2 races and a subclass for Redacted. Love it. You'll have fun to find out when I submit. All right,
y'all.
I'm here for it.
So we will keep y'all in mind, and then we will let you know a little bit more details about it. But if you're not familiar, you can check it out on YouTube. You can check it out on TikTok. Go look at the homemade Home Depot lightsaber handles. That's what we're talking about.
Yes,
if you haven't seen the fab yet, we are going to be doing that.
Check the Cursed Images channel.
Oh gosh, was this? Tell me it wasn't from this stream.
Oh, I don't know.
I look. It's only showing the screen, right? If I go to Discord, it'll be fine, right?
Yeah. If you open up Discord and then should be. Oh, it was the fucking.
That's it when you got
Jesus Christ.
God bless Foxer. God
all
bless.
right, y'all. Well, we will end it with that. Go ahead.
All right, friends and neighbors. I really appreciate you guys being here with us. Thank you for hanging out for our wonderful submission from Foxer, getting a 7 out of 10 or a 6 out of 10 high points. It was phenomenal. Loved what it was. Loved what we got to see. Love having you guys here. Thanks for joining us every Monday and Friday. We'll see you guys back here on Friday. We'll be doing some OSR testing. Very excited for that. And then next week for another awesome background review. But I hope you guys have a great week, and we'll see you guys soon. Deuces, my friends.
Cheers.